only Under Law Injury Lawyers. GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
More than 20 million Americans have already voted. Lisa Brady, Fox News, either by absentee ballot or in person, with more states beginning in-person early voting this week. Georgia is seeing record turnout, with elections officials dismissing claims of any widespread issues with voting machines.
In just a couple of days, more than 1 million ballots are cast in Georgia by in-person early voters. And despite claims of machine problems, Gabe Sterling with the Georgia Secretary of State office says there was only one instance where an elderly voter had a problem using the machine and it was fixed.
So they went over there. She printed the ballot she wanted. She went and cast that ballot. A Democrat poll watcher came to her and said, "Ma'am, was this experience okay?" Absolutely. This is a great experience.
It happened in Whitfield County, Georgia. Less than 24 ineligible voters have been identified in the state. Georgia has more than 8 million registered voters.
Fox's Evan Brown. Former President Trump has a town hall event and a rally in Georgia today. Vice President Kamala Harris will have a town hall event in Pennsylvania. But first, just spoke to reporters about what former Trump Chief of Staff John Kelly said in a New York Times interview, warning that Trump would rule like a dictator and meets the general definition of a fascist. A Trump campaign spokesperson says Kelly suffers from a debilitating case of Trump derangement syndrome. Quarter pounders off the menu at McDonald's in multiple states after a deadly E. coli outbreak that remains under investigation.
One person is dead, and we know that another 49 people are sick, 10 of which have had to be hospitalized. We're learning that the issue might be with the onions. They're telling us that these slivered onions only go into the quarter pounder. And we're also being told that the patties that they use in the quarter pounder are only used for that specific sandwich.
Fox Business's Kelly Saberi. The CDC says the outbreak may go beyond the 10 states already involved in the West and Midwest. America is listening to Fox News.
Moments like my daughter telling me a new joke mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative NBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
High pressure in control with plenty of sunshine going through our Wednesday afternoon. 75 for the high. Tonight, clear skies. Temperatures will drop back into the 60s. Quite mild, though, for late October. Chilly overnight, though, 48. Thursday, sunny and 74. Then Thursday night, couple of scattered showers. Friday, partly to mostly sunny, 78. In the 60s, so cooler over the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
Attention Missouri Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care with help preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more. A family member or friend that gets paid instantly after every shift. It's all funded by Medicaid and 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. New to Medicaid, the Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 5,000 5-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. This service is free to you through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers are paid instantly. So go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
I don't understand how we got so toxic and just so divided and so bitter. And I get why sometimes people just don't want to pay attention to it. And we all have friends like that. We have family members who just like, it's all a circus out there. I get that.
Do you, President Obama, do you understand why it is so divided today? Because when you listen to the way some of the other people in your party are talking, currently the President of the United States, it sounds a little bit like this.
He is talking about doing away with the entire Department of Education. He's talking, he means it. This is not a joke. This is a guy who also wants to replace every civil servant, every single one. Thinks he has a right under the Supreme Court ruling on immunity to be able, if need be, if it was the case, to actually physically eliminate, shoot, kill someone who he believes to be a threat to him. I mean, so I know this sounds bizarre. It sounds like if I said this 5 years ago, you'd lock me up. We got to lock him up.
And they clap. The man who is the lead contender in taking away the power from Kamala Harris, who is to take up the mantle and just continue the Biden-Harris campaign. You've got these individuals here talking about, oh gosh, I don't know how divided we are. This is good cop, bad cop right now. You hear Obama out there, and he's supposed to bring, I don't know, what would you say, joy to the campaign trail? Is that his job? That he's supposed to be there in a position to somehow reinvigorate what the campaign is all about? Is he supposed to make people feel, is Obama now back on the campaign trail because he's supposed to remind you of the excitement and of the thrill of what it means to vote Democrat in the United States? Why is Barack Obama, first of all, where has Michelle Obama been? Second of all, why has Barack Obama waited until this point to throw his weight, in the magnitude with which Barack Obama can throw his weight, behind their candidate? It's a really precarious situation that the Democrats have put themselves in for this particular reason. Their main objective is to make you believe that Donald Trump is dangerous to the future of America's democracy. It's a republic, but I digress. That Donald Trump is a threat. That's the message that they want to bring home. They want to make sure that you remember, above all else, I know that your groceries cost more. I know that it's expensive to fill up your gas tank. I know that if you've got to replace an appliance in your home, it's outrageous. I know if you need to make a service call, that the cost of energy has made the cost of services provided to you sky high and through the roof. I know you understand all of these things. But you have to remember, first and foremost, that in this election, you are voting for or against a real threat to our democracy. Democracy. That's the plan. That's the goal. That there is no policy that exists in your life that is more important to the threat that Donald Trump is to you. That's what they're trying to drive home. That's what they've been trying to drive home since 2015 when he declared his candidacy as a Republican for president. These people loved Donald Trump when he was a Democrat. He was a celebrity, real estate bazillionaire with, like, literally women on each arm, running beauty pageants, making the art of the deal, and they loved him. He wrote checks to them. They loved him. He said he was Republican, threat to democracy. People have their eyes open right now to the idea that maybe Donald Trump still isn't the guy you love. Maybe you still don't love the way he delivers his message. Maybe you think he's a little crass from time to time. But people are starting to do that really, really bad thing, which is start thinking about how policy affects their lives. Now that's a brain thing. That's a thought process. That's not a heart thing. That's not the element of feeling that pushes you into making decisions because it's just a heart matter. I don't think you should ever eliminate your heart from a decision-making process, but you certainly should not eliminate your brain. And Americans are understanding that Donald Trump was really good for America. And that's a hard pill to swallow if you've been led up to this point in time to be trained to have an emotional, visceral response in your gut that tells you that, above all else, the number one thing you need to remember is that he's a threat. So they're coming out and they're not talking to you about policy. They're not talking to you about how the Democrats have an opportunity to make your life better. They are in charge right now. Kamala Harris is in the driver's seat right now as the vice president of the United States, a vice president to a president who's been, let's just say, less active than prior presidents. Kamala Harris is the status quo. And if you want the status quo to change, you have but one choice facing you this election in 13 days. It's right around the corner. And when you see Barack Obama coming out onto the campaign trail, and you notice that he's trying to get the hope back injected into the Kamala Harris campaign, and Kamala Harris, people were saying yesterday, I know it's like I see this and it kind of annoys me when, like, a swath of Republican media goes out and says, oh, Kamala Harris took the day off. She must be tired, because they're playing on what the Harris campaign has been saying about Kamala, or the Harris campaign has been saying about Donald Trump, that he's exhausted, that he's taking days off. They're saying he's not fit to serve, so on and so forth. Yesterday, Kamala Harris isn't out on the stump. She was recording interviews and preparing to record interviews. She was working, but in a different capacity. I still think it's important to point out that she's not out on the stump talking to the voters, that she's trying to piece together interviews with, I think it was Univision or something like that. I don't think she's tired. I think she's sick and tired. I think that she's over this. I think that she has not been able to sell her message to the American people. And when she takes a step back and Barack Obama takes a step forward and tries to make Democrats cool again.
Now, I notice my palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, vomit on my sweater already, mom's spaghetti. I'm nervous, but on the surface I look calm and ready to drop bombs, but I keep on forgetting.
Well, he's in Michigan, and Eminem was on the stage, and Barack Obama goes out there and gives us a little lose yourself. I think they got the lose part right. Barack Obama is not cool Barack Obama the way he used to be. And I would just be like, if I were advising them, and I certainly am not, he doesn't have to be cool Barack Obama anymore because he has 2 terms of receipts of going into office and achieving what he set out to do, which is to transform fundamentally the United States of America. He pushed us very far into the progressive left. He changed the way Americans think and feel about politics dramatically in both ways. He made the Democratic Party more progressive, and he made the moderates in the Democratic Party scratch their head and wonder what they're supposed to do next. That's the implication that Barack Obama had on the Democratic Party. And to, in some ways, I think in fundraising ways, it's been a boon for the Democrats. But right now, Americans are looking at what is being offered to them on the left and the right. And regardless of personality, listen, there's a laundry list of things you could say about Donald Trump that have, over the course of the years he's been in the political eye, annoyed people. There have been billions of dollars spent over this amount of time in an effort to amplify those things, but also specifically to deceive you on the truth about Donald Trump. And honestly, if you know the truth about Donald Trump, you'll realize, brace yourself, Donald Trump is a great man. He's a good, caring, generous man. He has a big, bold personality. But if he were a Democrat, it wouldn't be a problem. The cardinal sin of Donald Trump is that he became a Republican. And Kamala Harris doesn't have anything that can compete with it. Kamala Harris is not in a position at this point in the election to prove to the voters that she has a plan, that she's any different. She's been asked about how she would be different, and she says, I can't think anything that comes to mind. How in the world do you get to this point in the election and have that be your answer? And it's starting to show outside of just, of course, we're a Fox News radio station here in St. Louis. We are the proud Fox News Radio affiliate. When you start seeing interviews that take place like this, I believe it's in Philadelphia, with a diverse group of people who are supporting Donald Trump on MSNBC.
What are your feelings, and let me start with the women here, about Kamala Harris?
She's a woman of color. I'm not putting her down because of that, and I'm not putting her down because she's a woman. I'm not a feminist, so I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, I don't think that she has the personality. I don't think that she has what it takes to go up against Putin and go up against these other presidents that are built for this. I don't want to be scared because my president is scared. I want my president to feel secure and manly and about it.
I love that she says, and about it. I understand that. The Chiron on MSNBC says Black GOP voters explain their concerns about Harris. This is a MSNBC Alex Wagner exclusive where she's sitting here talking to them. And to look at these individuals who have reasons for thinking and feeling the way they do, and the ability to explain it, and the bravery to explain it, when what we've heard from many people who have talked about, we've got guests on our show regularly who talk about being conservative in the African American community. These people are explaining the things that are important to them, and these issues are colorless issues. Yes, MSNBC is like, let's go look at the Black GOP voters and see what they think about Harris. But the issues that they're explaining in this particular instance, they're specific to Americans, to people who love America. And when America is at the priority, then our leaders, when they have that as their focus, our leaders can make America better for everybody. That's been missing in these last 4 years.
Brought up gender, right? Like, do you think it matters that she's a woman and people aren't comfortable having a woman in a top leadership role?
No, I don't think that, because most men, they love their mothers. They love their wives. So as a woman, most men, they respect the woman, but she just don't have the qualification or the education to really run America, because she don't have the experience. She don't understand our struggles. And for me to believe you for another 4 years, you're crazy.
Yes. I think this woman's name is Justice. Yes. For you to sit here and, pee down my back and tell me that it's raining when you're suggesting like what we need is a new way forward. We need to, turn the page. When you listen to Kamala Harris and all of the advocates that you have go out speaking on her behalf, they talk to you like your children. They message to you like your children. And there's a reason for that, because that's how they see you, and they will govern you accordingly. They know what's best for you. You are their children. You will get what you get, and you will not throw a fit come time Kamala Harris is inaugurated into the presidency. And you have these voters that MSNBC is going out to talk to. Credit, I guess, where credit is due for being willing to have this conversation. And they're saying, you got to be crazy if you think that we're going to listen to what you're selling us right here and believe that Kamala Harris offers us anything different. Anything new. When people keep asking Kamala Harris about what she would do differently than Joe Biden, I would like one reporter to ask her, what did Joe Biden do that you don't feel he went far enough on? Because the truth of the matter is, the real change that you will see with a Kamala Harris presidency will be a more dramatic, bolder version of what Joe Biden has already done. Much more progressive, much more aggressively progressive. That's the ball on the tee that has been handed to Kamala in her coronation into the presidency. And you, in 13 days, have the opportunity to say, hell no. It's up to you. Go vote. Missouri, you can get out and vote right now. Early vote. Illinois, you've been able to vote for like 2 years in this election or something. You need to go out and vote. Get your vote cast. And then tomorrow, go find somebody else to go have coffee and then go take them to vote. You matter. You matter right now. There's still points that we can put on the scoreboard. Let's do it before the game is over on November 5th. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk to our dear friend Jack Posobiec is going to be with us. His new book is out right now called Bulletproof, The Truth About the Assassination Attempts on Donald Trump. Jack Posobiec on The Annie Frey Show next.
This is The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is online at igotfloored.com. If you're shopping for flooring, please consider supporting Michael's Flooring Outlet that supports us. igotfloored.com is the website for this company that really works to aggressively and has for decades now maybe supported 97.1, the Annie Frey Show, since the beginning in 2018. And we're grateful for that. They offer everything you need when it comes to your carpeting residentially, also commercially. When you work with Michael's Flooring Outlet, you're working with patriots who are family-owned and operated business right here in the St. Louis area with 3 locations that you can shop at. I want to list them off for you in St. Charles County and West County and Darien Prairie right here in Missouri, and they service both Missouri and Illinois. If you are in the market for flooring, if you're looking for that beautiful Smart Strand Mohawk line of carpeting, a beautiful new hardwood floor to get rid of some dingy old carpet, wherever you're headed, Michael's Flooring Outlet is there to guide you. We appreciate their sponsorship of the Annie Frey Show, and we encourage you to check out Michael's Flooring Outlet for your next flooring purchase. Online at igotfloored.com.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
So this new dose is... nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Ugh, I've been feeling so sluggish and just kind of blah.
Been there. That's why I take Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites.
But I suppose they taste blah.
Actually, they taste delicious. It's an apple blueberry flavored center covered in a yogurt coating and is infused with probiotics to help support a healthy gut. They come 5 in a pouch. I just toss one in my bag and go.
Toss one in my bag?
Get your own.
New Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites from the makers of the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Find them in the digestive care aisle.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. As a business owner, it's your job to anticipate constant market changes. But what do you do in the event of a divorce? Years of hard work building a business are on the line. This is not business as usual. You need an experienced partner you can count on for help. We're Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of our Missouri or Illinois attorneys. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town and Country, Missouri, 63017. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
Hey homeowners, it's time to transform your house into a masterpiece with Lakeside Renovation and Design, your James Hardie siding experts. Picture this, durable, weather-resistant siding that doesn't just protect, but elevates your home's value and curb appeal. James Hardie, the gold standard in siding, installed by the pros at Lakeside. Say goodbye to maintenance headaches and hello to a home that stands the test of time. Ready for a siding upgrade? Lakeside Renovation and Design is your go-to. Visit our showroom or call today. Unleash the potential of your home with James Hardie Siding.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
I'm an optimistic person. I'm not hysterical. I laugh when people say, oh, you've got Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
I think if you're a reasonable person, you should have Trump derangement syndrome. Right. And by the way, I think he has derangement syndrome about us, too. The fact of the matter is, this is a dangerous person. This is a stupid person. And that's a bad combination. And I think what we're forgetting, I keep forgetting it, and I have to keep reminding myself, is he's not just running for president. He's running to stay out of prison.
Jimmy Kimmel must be the most miserable person on television, unless it's a close second maybe to the person he was talking to right there, Joe Scarborough. Do you hear how these individuals who have a great influence on American people are talking about the former president of the United States? Yes, candidate for president, and we will decide that in 13 short days. But the way these people talk about Donald Trump, it really makes you pause and think why there might be other people out there who are potentially mentally unstable for real, who hear this and feel emboldened by this repetition of words that are so egregious towards the former president of the United States and potentially the next president of the United States. Well, the man who wrote the book on it, along with Joshua Lysick, the book is called Bulletproof. His name's Jack Posobiec. He's also the senior editor at Human Events, and he's back with us on the Annie Fry Show right now. Jack, thank you for being with us today. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show and exciting to talk to you about your new book, Bulletproof.
Well, Annie, it's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me on. And as we know, America is becoming very fraught. I think tension has been ratcheted up on all sides right now. And even given a situation like we saw July 13th, Butler, Pennsylvania, or September 15th in West Palm Beach, even this incident last night with Kamala Harris, apparently, and a drunk driver who was driving the wrong way in Detroit, I think everyone knows that it feels like the country is on a knife's edge when it comes to this election. And you really want to step back and say, well, hold on a second. It didn't used to be this way in the United States. We didn't used to get this caustic over elections. There'd be a winner, there'd be a loser, just like the Super Bowl, but people would go on with their lives. But something clearly has changed in the past couple of cycles, and it really is all centered around Donald Trump.
Yeah, that can't be denied. You know Donald Trump. You've know him on a personal level. You've advocated for him for quite some time. You think he's the right guy for the job. I do. Our listeners on the whole do as well. But what I can't understand is when I look at the people who are unstable about their disgust for Donald Trump, specifically the Republicans who have come out and tried to cross that line over into the Democratic Party, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, of course. I'm very curious about what these individuals are so scared of should they lose this Super Bowl, knowing there's another Super Bowl 4 years down the line for their candidate to try to vie for that opportunity once again. What is so scary that gets people to this point of being deranged over it?
Well, I think what's so scary. So you have two setups basically. There's sort of the elites and then just the average person. So for the average person, I think that unfortunately there has been a psychological operation and a psychological form of rhetoric that's been used predominantly through mainstream media and corporate media over the last 8 years to explain that Donald Trump and Donald Trump supporters are extremists, that they are some fascist, xenophobic, racist, ethno-nationalist organization that is poised to take over the country. And it's also misogynist, can't leave that out as well. That's what you get from Joy Reid predominantly when she's not race baiting. And basically they've been telling their followers that if this person or these people are able to come into power, that is, they are, instead of governing the same way that he governed for 4 years when he already was president, that instead it's going to turn this country into some post-apocalyptic dystopian future. From the elite side, the reason you're seeing the corporates do this, and unfortunately a lot of people have fallen into that, and unfortunately there are families and marriages that have fallen apart over this and many other things. And from the elite side, the reason that they don't support Donald Trump is because he stands as a detriment to billions and billions of dollars that are being made across multiple fronts, multiple industries, whether it's the China lobby that you see out of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and on Wall Street, whether it's Silicon Valley and their control over the country, and pushing for regulation on that, and a internet users bill of rights, a digital bill of rights, whether it's from the multinational companies that are involved in sending American jobs overseas through outsourcing, or even the military industrial complex when we see the support for foreign wars that of course are worth billions and billions of dollars. Remember, every time another tranche of billions is sent to Ukraine, it doesn't actually mean it's going to Ukraine, it's going into the pockets of the defense contractors who are then able to supply the missiles and the artillery and the tanks and all of these things. And so when Donald Trump comes around and says, no, I think we're going to actually pursue a peace deal instead of continuing the war, suddenly all of those deep-seated financial interests run aground against him, because this is simply a candidate who can't be bought because he's a billionaire already.
Yeah, it is obviously very disturbing to those folks, and they out themselves on the regular. You don't even have to really scratch your head as to who's on what side. They can't help themselves. You wrote the book Bulletproof, and I want to talk about this. People can order it right now. We've got the link in the YouTube description of today's live broadcast. But you're telling a story that, for whatever particular reason, it's unfathomable to me why we are not talking on the regular about the details behind an assassination of Trump on former president's life. Talk to me about the odds of the massive security failure and the way those lined up on that day, the odds of that happening the way it did, combined with the odds of Donald Trump turning his head at exactly the right point, at exactly the right time for him to still be in this election and race and with his family today.
Well, thank you, Annie. Yes, and so as a sort of social experiment, my co-author and I, we calculated about 12 or identified about 12 independent security failures which took place on that day, each of which, if you had upended one of those failures, it would have prevented Thomas Matthew Crooks from being able to go up on that AGR building and then using the AR-15 with the red dots EOTech scope, be able to take shots, 8 shots at Donald Trump, by the way, and the ensuing crowd. And so the odds of all of those security failures happening on the same day that a trained killer, a trained marksman, would go with malicious intent to get those shots off, or 1 in 1 septillion. And we plugged all of this into GPT-4 Omni. And GPT-4 Omni, which is sort of the latest iteration of the OpenAI, we said, well, what's your assessment? What is the computer's assessment? What is the digital assessment? Because, maybe I'm biased because I'm a supporter. I want to hear what the computer says. And the computer responded saying the extreme unlikelihood of such a high amount of failures all occurring on the same day give rise to the question as to whether or not all of this happened by chance alone, and calls for further investigation into what really happened.
Yeah.
And that's what GPT-4 Omni said to us. That wasn't me. That wasn't, me just going on the internet asking for comments. That's actually what OpenAI's response was. Basically that it's incredulous, and it flies in the face of mathematical reality and statistical reality. Now, you mentioned, what are the odds as well that Donald Trump would turn his head and that there would be a gust of wind at about 5 miles an hour at the exact moment? I mean, it's just impossible. It's completely impossible, other than what I believe to be a form of divine intervention that saved Donald Trump that day. And so we actually made that the cover of the book, not the picture, the iconic photo of Trump with his hand up. And I don't know, maybe we'd sell more copies if that was the cover, but I didn't want to do that.
That might be the sequel.
Because, and because the one for me is that picture of Trump when he's brought low and when he's on his knees, and it looks as though he's in prayer. He's giving that prayerful with his hands clasped together. And that's a way that we've never seen Donald Trump before. We've seen Donald Trump do many things, but we've never seen him humble himself and be humble in public, certainly ever.
Yeah.
And I said, to me, that looks like a man who's speaking with his creator and realizing that there is a force far more powerful than any of us that is truly behind all things. And we made that the cover of the book, and I've been saying this throughout the tour. And then Donald Trump himself, actually, I was at this event in Charlotte, North Carolina, Ballots and Bibles, and this 11th Hour Faith Leader event. And he came up and he was talking about that event, and he says, now looking back at my life's journey, I can see the hand of God guiding me the entire way. And on that day, July 13th, in Butler, Pennsylvania, he said, I felt as if a great supernatural force threw me to the ground when that happened. Because if you go, and I went back and I watched the video, and just to double check this, and I said, wait a minute, he goes to the ground very quickly, but before the Secret Service has arrived.
Right.
He puts his hand to his ear. He says he realized that it was a gunshot because he could hear it and he could feel that. He said it was a tremendous force that hit his ear, but then he felt another force pushing him down and keeping him down. And he attributed that to the hand of God. And he said that he believes that his life was saved that day for a purpose, and that is the purpose that he is on now. And I have to say that I just, as a believer, I will always believe that. And I'll always believe that on that day, God saved his life. We can't understand why. We can't understand the machinations. But if you look throughout the Bible, and not to get all theological here, but
please, we don't mind.
When you look through the Bible, you find so many instances, though, whether it's David, whether it's Solomon, his mistresses, whether it's Saul, who was incredibly corrupt, and God taking these flawed individuals and then raising them up and using them to go on to perform great and extraordinary deeds. But always, God requires that they perform an act of humility first to them, that they show piousness, that they show piety towards God. And when you look at that, it falls almost perfectly within a pattern that is set out by the Bible and many of the passages in there. And so I just have to say that that's exactly what I think it is. And, you know, when they talk about there being a gust of wind, that actually in every single instance of the New Testament that the Holy Spirit is referenced, the Holy Spirit is referred to as being accompanied by a gust of wind.
That's so true.
This is at Christ's baptism. This is at the cenacle, where the tongues of fire and the coming of the Holy Spirit in Pentecost, and the word, the Anglo-Saxon word for gust actually is the word Geist, which I didn't know, but I looked up in terms of this, and it turns out that's the same root word as the word ghost. So, you know, we're going into Halloween here, but it's also ghost, like the Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
And so spirit, of course, spiritus is a Latin word, but the Anglo-Saxon word is the term would be the Holy Ghost. And so there was that indelible link between a ghost and wind.
We're here, and I know you have to run, but I want to give you one opportunity to talk. We've had a lot of conversations about this on our show. We have 3 people on our show. We're all Christians. We're happy to say that's how we identify. Your message to those people who are conflicted in their Christian faith to vote for this man.
Yeah, sure. It's very simple. One person is incredibly anti-Christian. One person has come out and supported the locking up of pro-lifers, has supported the locking up of people who are patriots, has gone after traditional Catholics for praying the rosary, which is something that I do with my family. We're Polish Catholics. We've always prayed the rosary. It pretty much comes in flavor that way. And this person has presided over all of that. And to have her come forward and say that she wants to continue this as president, with Democrats making mockery of communion, with Kamala Harris mocking Catholics at the Al Smith dinner, this is someone who is openly hostile to Christians. And if she becomes in power, if she's given power, remember, it's not just her, it's the 5,000 people that come along with her, and same with Trump, obviously. And these are people that would be incredibly hostile to Christians. So if you're someone who's out there like me, who sends your kids to a Christian school, if you're someone out there that doesn't want your kids going to these woke indoctrination centers known as public schools, then she will work to shut down those systems, and you will see lawsuits, and you will see everything coming out of the Department of Justice to crack down on this and come after your kids. And they will do so and tell you that it's for their own good.
Man.
And so that's, for me, there's not even a choice.
Well, the book is Bulletproof, the truth about the assassination attempts on Donald Trump. Yourself and your co-author, Joshua Lysick, we appreciate you putting this together and making sure that this story doesn't just fade out of people's frontal thoughts. And with the election shortly around the corner, we're really grateful today, Jack, for your time. Thank you for being here with us.
God bless you, Annie. Thank you so much.
God bless you, Jack Posobiec. Thank you so much for being here with us today. You got to get this book. You've got to understand a lot of the things that went into the detailed look at the security that was put into place, the security failures that took place, and again, listening to Jack's words there specifically on the way that Donald Trump behaved in that moment. You know, 1 in a septillion. That's the phrase right there. That's the quote. And it's an amazing, amazing thing. You know, in my lifetime, I was born in 1984, but in my lifetime, I've heard forever about the assassination of JFK. I've heard people from maybe your generation say, I know where I was. I know what the desk was like that I was sitting in when we got word at school. I've heard about the assassination attempts on Ronald Reagan's life. I've heard that he said when he was wheeled into the ER or the operating room or whatever it was, like, I hope you are Republicans. And the doctor said to Reagan, we're all Republicans today, sir, or whatever. Like, these are stories that stand the test of time. They come part of our understood history. They're huge moments in time. And we are just months from a bullet grazing the ear of a man who is simply running to be the president of the United States again. And we're not talking about it. Jack Posobiec and Joshua Lysick are, and we're very grateful for it. If you're interested in this book, it's called Bulletproof. It's available on Amazon. You can get it right now. You can get it today. If you're looking for a direct link, you can go to the Annie Fry YouTube description of our live broadcast right now, and I've linked it there. Let's take a quick break. Get Wiggins in here for Wiggins America next.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
sts-armory.com. I just signed up for my concealed carry license renewal, and the classes are being taught by the amazing people at STS Armory. I love that I can go there to get this taken care of and to renew my license to carry in the state of Illinois. You can do this too if you're signing up for the first time or if you're needing to get your renewal done. Reach out to STS Armory and get it on the schedule. I was shocked at how quick it's able to be done, one day in and out for the renewal, and with the very best in the business. So if you have a class that you're looking to take, if you're new to firearms and you've got no idea what you're doing, but you do understand the importance of being a responsible gun owner who is confident in their ability to work their firearm, all of that, the whole thing. You can walk in and never know a single thing about guns. You're going to go in and talk to Katie and Jesse. They're going to get you applied for a FOID card. They're going to get you in the process. You can take a beginner's course, a safety course, and learn everything and do it the responsible way. Go with the people who are the best in the business for firearm owners, wannabe firearm owners in the state of Illinois. It's sts-armory.com is the website. You can call them directly at 618-931-GUNS. 618-931-GUNS. Visit the store that I go to and that the Fry family shops at sts-armory.com.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25RHINO.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
The YouTube live chat poll today is about January 6th. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, too, but I'm glad we're actually polling the listenership today. Does January 6th influence your vote? Major influence, minor influence, no influence? That's what we want to know. It's the YouTube live chat poll. Chime in there, along with so many others. 1247, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
If your family has been touched by Alzheimer's, join with 97.1 listeners and many others at St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's on Saturday, October 26th at Chesterfield Park. It's a community of support. Register today at 971talk.com/events.
I've got a new age girl. Tell us what she's like. Environmentalist girl. Does she ride a bike? She has a crystal necklace. She spends a lot of cash. Her vibes are rather reckless.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I have no idea what you're talking about today. Did you send anything?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, it felt like what you just did was important.
Yeah, I was focused. I had a busy morning.
It was really good. I mean, the book itself, the content from this book sounds amazing.
Yeah, I want to read it. I've been looking to wait and see for it to get on Audible, but I haven't seen it yet. So
you hear somebody talk about that kind of stuff, and you realize that, the day's news, the word salad of Kamala Harris or whatever.
What are you talking about? She's totally...
You take a step back and you go, wow, this is bigger than just whatever CNN said last night. Like, this is a big deal. In light of you doing a really good, impactful interview.
Was that a compliment?
Indirect.
Clip it right now. Clip it right now.
Indirect.
If you can give the compliment to Jack, I don't need any of the credit.
That's what I'm saying, is that he brought really good content. You were sort of just a vessel.
There. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
There's the Ryan.
Never mind. Clip it.
In light of that,
Delete it.
and the depth that we're all feeling from listening to a really good conversation, this is how to start a conversation. Very, very important.
So it wasn't a compliment. You actually have advice.
Yeah, this is because I thought you guys, it was kind of slow to start.
Oh, maybe you're just slow.
So I like let's get popping here, And since we're in radio, I figured everybody can use this in their profession. But even if you're not in radio, you can use this to make friends. This is
make friends.
This is phrases.
To me, it feels like Ryan has some insecurities about his ability to communicate and make friends.
Oh, no. This is I'm coming from a place of authority here. And I'm reading this from Yahoo Lifestyle.
Okay, yeah, that's where we get all of our really important news.
We'll
have Jim Carafano on at 105 to even things back out. Go on.
Right. No, but to bring it back to, the
Israel leaks.
Important things like that. But this is sort of this is the stuff that you take with you. 10 phrases, according to psychologists, that will help you start conversations easier. First one. Hi, I don't think we've met before. I'm blank.
What if you have met before?
Or what if you don't have a name?
I was really hoping it was just going to be hi.
The first step is to break the ice. Just say hello.
Yeah.
Speak.
If you have spoken before, that's tough, because then you walk up to them, you say your name, they say, yes, we've met before. Awkward.
What if you don't remember their name?
I love all the people who are watching us on Twitter right now because Jack Posobiec retweeted us and he's got like millions of followers. And they're like, wow, this is really interesting because, as you said, Jack Posobiec.
Right.
And now they're like, who are these yahoos?
Well,
Hi, this is Ryan.
This is the Annie Fry Show. This is Wiggins America.
Why does he have
on
an
the Annie
egg
Fry
on his
Show.
jacket?
I was going to ask that
Is that
too.
a fried egg on your jacket?
It is a fried egg.
Okay, go on.
I'm not sure why.
Good icebreaker.
Number 2, that's a great point. Number 2, I couldn't help but overhear you talking about blank. That's an interest of mine as well.
What if it's not? You just lie?
No, don't worry about that.
I have few interests.
You walk up to somebody, and no matter what they're talking about, you just say, I heard you talking about blank. I'm interested in that.
I'm just going to tell you, Yahoo Lifestyle, that all of these things are like, I'm at the point in my life now that I'm 40 whole years old, where if somebody comes up, I'm like, oh man, I got to pee. Just am out.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah. Or you just go, dang, look at that. And you just walk away.
It's harder for people to argue with you saying
coming.
you have to pee.
Yeah. What's that? Oh, my phone's ringing. Like you're yelling at your phone from across the room.
Voices in my head. Sorry.
All right, number 3. What are you looking at /eating/drinking?
Quit looking at me, Swan.
This is from psychologists.
What are you looking at?
What are you looking at
What are you looking
/eating/drinking? You can't go wrong with conversation basics, says this psychologist. Asking someone about their experience in the moment is an easy way to invite low-pressure conversation.
You know how like the socially awkward have taken over?
Yes.
I think they wrote this.
I think there is no doubt about that. These questions...
I am socially awkward. I just know my role. It's quiet. In the background, not having weirdo conversations with people that don't want to talk to me.
That's actually very true.
Here's the thing is I could see someone who's really like actually trying to figure this out, looking at this and saying, okay, got it. And then literally going up and saying, what are you looking at? /eating/drinking.
They've written these things on their hand and they like walk up and they look at their hand and they're like, oh no, that part rubbed off a little bit. What do I do?
What if they're eating/drinking and looking at all one thing? Like it's a smoothie. They're just staring at it. It makes it a little harder, doesn't it?
Are you drinking that or are you eating that?
Yeah. What are you looking at? Looking at this thing right here.
If
It's
one
got
of these
boba in
things
it.
is to go up to someone and say, hey, how's it going? What do you think? Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Look,
I'm firing you.
If anybody walks up to you and says, I couldn't help but overhear you talking about blank.
Yeah, creepo.
You'd go, that's a little strange. Although I just did that to a lady last weekend. I admit.
How'd that go?
She was thankful because it was in a line. We were at a theme park, and we were in a line, and she was talking to her husband on the phone. She said, man, this line is long. I just want to get a drink. She hung up, and I said, ma'am, I couldn't help but overhear you. I didn't mean to bother you.
Did you use your radio
but
voice?
That I did. I was like, hey, this is Ryan Wiggins.
You're like, in a world
from
where you can't get a drink.
Never heard you use that voice.
From St. Louis, Missouri.
Did you give our call letters and the location of our tower?
KFTK 97.1. I typically can be heard noon to 3.
Can you please give somebody else's call letters when
What
you
I
do
said
this?
to her was, I said, there's a line just for drinks over there. She was so thankful. We did not become friends, though. I want to point out number 4 before we run out of time. This is from Psychologist,
Gosh,
and this is a published article.
Fast enough.
Isn't this weather surprising?
No?
One of the doctors says discussing the weather is a universal icebreaker.
It only lasts, you can only do that for like 60 to 90 seconds, and then you have to do something else.
Yeah, if you don't have content beyond this, you're in real
Big
trouble. Like, this has got to be just step 1, and this is the lightest stuff.
If you don't have content beyond that, why do you want to talk to the person to begin with?
Is this, see, George right here, he's got my line, and I appreciate you, George W. What you say, if you're ever uncomfortable, is you just walk into a room and you go, Donald Trump, am I right? And then you just go with whatever happens next.
That's a fact.
It's a 50-50.
Yeah.
Nobody be like, oh, no, what do you think about him? I've heard some things.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the guy from The Apprentice?
Yeah, exactly.
The last one.
The guy from Home Alone?
Do you want to hear something funny?
This is like the premise of every 12:45 segment you do. You walk in and you say these things, and then we got to figure out how to squeeze 8 minutes out of it.
Now listen, this Dr. Deganji says that neuroscience
Are you sure it's not Dagandi?
shows that laughter can raise the level of serotonin, a feel-good chemical in your brain.
You're just saying words and definitions.
Now the problem is you have to then say something funny.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just ask if they
So what do you
want
do
to
then?
hear something funny. I'm not
You're
sure.
like, oh, me too.
I think you have one of those like little fart keychains.
Fart key? Because a fart is always funny?
Uh-huh.
Oh, man. That's
Play
what all
that.
the boys in my life say, and you've now been added to the
If
category.
somebody walked up to me and did that, I really would become friends with them.
I will not be that person. Not at all. Somehow or another, we're going to come back with Jim Carafano and talk about the Middle East, as well as Joshua Lloyd, who's running for Illinois' 13th district in Congress. We'll be right back.
It's that time again, where we choose who we think is the best candidate for office. It's a difficult decision that requires the evaluation of contenders. Do they have the appropriate skills and experience for this office? Are they the right type of leader? Do they have a clear vision? Selecting the right candidate is no easy feat. That's why, for your office, there's ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes choosing the right candidate for any office easy because they only find and send you the most qualified people for your roles. Best of all, they do it fast. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, while you're thinking about that really big decision, rest assured that any other hiring decision will be much easier when you use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
She learned the value of hard work and responsibility at her family's small business at an early age. Ann Wagner took those same hard-working Missouri values to Washington. She's made it her job to keep the radical left from harming your job. Today, in the midst of Joe Biden's out-of-control inflation, Ann Wagner protects us by working to lower costs for families. As a mother of 3, she understands the work and has done it to keep your home and community safe. That's why Ann Wagner fought to secure our border and stop traffickers from smuggling fentanyl and illegal immigrants into our communities, and why she gave law enforcement the tools they need to defend us. And Ann Wagner took a stand against the defund the police radicals who will leave us in harm's way. She'll always back our brave law enforcement officers, putting conservative values to work for us. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. I depend on them for eye care, and they have an announcement. They're pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to their practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon, and he has the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field. So what do we call them now? The doctors? No, just the best doctors to see for your best vision. In St. Louis, you can reach them at 314-966-5000. They've treated more than 250 lucky doctors, more than any others in the practice. Now, if you need help with dry eye, LASIK surgery, maybe you have glaucoma, macular degeneration. I had an eye disease when I was just 25 years old, so my eyes are very important to me. You get the absolute best care with the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Bersati, Andy Royer, and now Dr. Samuel Berry. 314-966-5000 or visit youridoc.com. They have a great location just off Manchester Road, a half-mile west of 270. Ophthalmology Associates.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A renewed line of attack in the presidential race. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. Vice President Kamala Harris reacting to interviews by former Trump Chief of Staff John Kelly, a retired four-star general who says then President Trump said he wanted generals like Hitler had.
He does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him.
Harris says in a second Trump term, people like Kelly wouldn't be there to, quote, rein him in.
So the bottom line is this. We know what Donald Trump wants. He wants unchecked power. The question in 13 days will be, what do the American people want?
She spoke outside the vice president's residence. Senior Trump National Security Advisor Kash Patel tells Fox News.
They want to put President Trump and his powerful national security policy on defense. We are not going on defense.
Calling Kelly's interviews disinformation, including a claim in The Atlantic that Trump made disparaging comments about a murdered U.S. soldier after offering to pay for her funeral and meeting with the family.
Vanessa Guillen's own sister and mother came out yesterday and specifically said that Donald Trump could not have been more gracious, caring, and loving as a commander-in-chief. And they said that what The Atlantic printed were outright lies.
Trump will campaign in Georgia today. Harris has a town hall event later in Pennsylvania. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin confirming reports that North Korean troops are in Russia. And he says while it remains to be seen what they're doing, if they enter the war in Ukraine, it would be very serious.
And it will have impacts not only in Europe, it will also impact things in the Indo-Pacific as well.
Now, moments ago, a White House official telling reporters at least 3,000 North Korean troops were moved into Russia. He says if they enter combat in Ukraine, it would demonstrate Russia's growing desperation after what he calls extraordinary casualties. America is listening to Fox News.
Moments like hearing my cat purr good morning mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib. Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
High pressure in control with plenty of sunshine going through our Wednesday afternoon. 75 for the high. Tonight, clear skies. Temperatures will drop back into the 60s. Quite mild, though, for late October. Chilly overnight, though, 48. Thursday, sunny and 74. Then Thursday night, couple of scattered showers. Friday, partly to mostly sunny, 78. In the 60s, so cooler over the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Stewart's American Mortgage, that's the place to go. If you are looking for a new mortgage, if you're looking for a refinance, you want Stewie on your side, and Stewie wants you on his side. He is the guy to go to for the bagel loan. He calls it the bagel loan because bagels look like zeros. That's to remind you that you pay zero in closing costs when you get your mortgage through Stewart's American Mortgage. You pay zero in closing costs when you get your refinance done with Stewart's American Mortgage. I myself have done 2 mortgage refinances with Stewie. I've got myself a great low rate when they were at the bottom, and I'm glad that I listened to my own advice, but specifically the advice that I've gotten many times from Stewie, where you can make that monthly payment really work for you. If you can afford the payment you have right now, but you'd love to pay less in interest, maybe a refinance is in play. If you got your mortgage recently, refinance, you could potentially shave years off the length of your loan and keep the payment where it is. Whatever the situation is that's best for you, 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Reach out to Stewie and have a conversation today. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
So this new dose is, well, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Ugh, I've been feeling so sluggish. I'm just kind of blah. Been there. That's why I take Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites. But I suppose they taste blah. Actually, they taste delicious. It's an apple blueberry flavored center covered in a yogurt coating and is infused with probiotics to help support a healthy gut. They come 5 in a pouch. I just toss one in my bag and go.
Toss one in my bag?
Get your own.
New Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites from the makers of the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Find them in the digestive care aisle.
Tune in to the Home Improvement Show sponsored by Mosby Building Arts, Saturdays 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1 for expert advice on remodeling, design, and construction. This live Q&A show begins at noon, or find podcasts at mosbybuildingarts.com. Republican Adam Schnelting is a husband, father, and a soldier. As an Army combat engineer, Schnelting is trained to fight for us. He's trained to solve problems. As state representative, Adam fought to keep men out of our daughters' bathrooms and sports. He voted to cut our taxes and fully fund our schools. He led the charge in Missouri to secure our border and address the fentanyl crisis. He even earned the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Adam Schnelting for State Senate.
I'm Adam Schnelting, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Schnelting for Missouri, Mike Summer, Treasurer.
You've got thoughts. Did you know you also have a microphone? Listen to 97.1 on the Odyssey app and click the microphone to leave a voice message. Whatever's on your mind, let us know by clicking the microphone in the Odyssey app.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
We have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired. It is a priority for us as a nation and for the American people. And our focus has been on fixing a problem. And from day one, then, we have done a number of things.
Gosh, she's full of crap. It makes me so mad. From day one of her phrases, from day one. On day one, the Biden-Harris administration began to undo 94 executive orders that Donald Trump put into place to make this country safe. And look what happened. Kamala Harris went on, was it Univision that she was studying for yesterday?
Telemundo.
That's not a separate one? This is her on Telemundo talking about immigration. Listen.
Right now we're talking about border security, and there's no Democrat talking about pathway to citizenship, an immigration relief, and the benefits that migrants bring to this country.
Oh, but there's no question that migrants bring. America is a country that was built in part by immigrants.
But people are concerned about their TPS, their DACA, we're talking about mass deportations.
I'm not talking about.
What do you stand on mass deportations? What's your stand there?
We need smart, humane immigration policy in America that includes a pathway to citizenship.
There is a pathway to citizenship. Get in line.
Yeah. Also, the phrase, we need smart, if she had stopped there, it would sound like it was out of Anchorman.
When she said that, I was like, and then she kept going.
I see plant. I see screen.
I love lamp.
We need smart.
Wild conspiracy theory. Everybody knows that she keeps wearing those same earrings. The earrings, has that been debunked yet?
That has not been fully debunked.
It hasn't been debunked. I've seen the earrings online, like on Amazon, that they're like Bluetooth.
She wore them at the debate.
Has not been confirmed or denied, but she has been wearing them all the time.
She wore them at the debate.
Yes.
She had all of her lines down pat.
Yep.
People came out with like, she's wearing Bluetooth earrings, blah, 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 blah. I didn't even know those were a thing. I'd kind of like to see how they work. Like a big internet conspiracy for 24, 48 hours, she never stopped wearing them. If she would have stopped wearing them, I don't know if I would think more of the conspiracy. But she still wears them. With her delivery, the way she talks, sometimes she has these pauses, and when she sits in an interview, she'll like look off to the side or something. It just feels like she's looking for an answer. And in my mind, it's like college football where you've got her staff over there and they're like holding up signs and it's got like Luigi and a fire hydrant and some spaghetti and a potato. And then she's like, oh, we're going to run that play. And then she goes.
Absolutely.
Like, I feel like she just looks over. She needs a little wink and a reminder. And then she will stall and speak in triplicate and, say... the important thing is in terms of the work that we need to do, including the work that has been done by the many people who have been doing the work, that we could A, B, C, and the importance of C, B, and A is that the work will be done that we've been doing. Direct quote. I mean, she's kind of jumping around and bobbing and weaving. It's just like she's moving through space and time. And the only point is to get from the beginning of space and time to the end of space and time and not like just croak.
We saw the fullness of her material. Like I said before, stand-up comedian, has an hour set. She's got the same set. She's going from city to city. She's doing the same set. Politicians do this, but hers is literally the exact same thing every single time. She's not doing any ad lib because she's in St. Louis versus she's in Ohio. She's doing the same script. We've seen that script over and over and over. How helpful would it be to have somebody in your ear, if you've got that script memorized? Oh, a question that's in the orbit of immigration. You got somebody in there going, hit House bill. Boom, every time. So that's not getting you off your script. It gets you right back on. It would be so helpful as a politician to have that.
Every politician has a team of people who are trying to constantly keep them moving forward on the path and in their lane. So it's not unusual to think that you would have a candidate that's being packaged, but you have to believe that the substance of that package that is being delivered to the American people is rooted in the candidate that will be running and potentially winning the office that they're running for. And Kamala is an empty vessel. And she's being programmed at all times based on the people who are around her. And I think among many voting Americans, would love to know the names of all of those people who are like, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. I don't know why you would shy away from talking about the team of people you have behind you, helping you, make better policy and communicate better with the American people. But she has not been able to deliver on that. And, going to the woman who I was playing a little bit in the first segment, this woman, my favorite line is, I'm not a feminist, so sorry. She's saying this to the MSNBC Alex Wagner exclusive. Did you hear that?
I heard, but I didn't realize that was on MSNBC.
Yes. I mean, when you listen to the way she presents herself in this interview, It's an Alex Wagner exclusive. They're in a room. It almost looks to me like it's like a manicure pedicure place, the way they're sitting in these chairs, but I don't know. And MSNBC is asking them. They're supposed to be GOP voters on their thoughts on Donald Trump. And
your feelings, and let me start with the women here, about Kamala Harris.
She's a woman of color. I'm not putting her down because of that, and I'm not putting her down because she's a woman. I'm not a feminist, so I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, I don't think that she has the personality. I don't think that she has what it takes to go up against Putin and go up against these other presidents that are built for this. I don't want to be scared because my president is scared. I want my president to feel secure and manly and about it.
We brought up gender, right? Like, do you think it matters that she's a woman and people aren't comfortable having a woman in a top leadership role?
No, I don't think that, because most men, they love their mothers. They love their wives. So as a woman, most men, they respect the woman, but she just don't have the qualification or the education to really run America, because she don't have the experience. She don't understand our struggles. And for me to believe you for another 4 years, you're crazy. Right. Like, you're crazy. You're saying the same thing that you said 4 years ago.
So the fact that she's the vice president
That's
to
just
you
the
is
bottom line.
You're like, you've been here, you've had a chance.
Yes. Well, for me, the very first time I ever heard the name Kamala Harris, it was in association to locking up parents for truancy. That was the first time I ever heard of her name. And I really didn't understand how this person claims to be a black woman, but yet she's locking black women and black men and separating families.
This is the thing that is, Trump talks about this a lot. He says, Kamala Harris became black when it was convenient.
Right. Yep.
Can you talk to me about, do you agree with him on that? Do you feel like she's wearing her blackness?
Absolutely. When she sworn to the Senate, it was as the first Indian American.
Thank you.
Which is, it's fine. We don't care.
We all know she's not black. Let's understand that. We are all clear of that. But my point of view, like I told you earlier, she's already been there. She's in office right now.
What are your feelings?
These people are so amazing. I want to go hang out with them. They're saying all the most common sense, normal things. I find it hilarious that the first woman is sitting in there and she's saying to the MSNBC, Alex Wagner there, she's saying to them, like, this isn't because she's black. This isn't because she's a woman. I'm sorry I'm not a feminist. Like, all of the pre-qualifications that she feels necessary to get while she's sitting there as a black woman having this conversation with MSNBC. Here's all the reasons that I'm not supporting her, but let me tell you why I am not supporting her. I don't trust her with the safety and security of America on the world stage. I don't think she can handle it. And then the other individuals go on to say, she's been in there for 4 years. Vote for her is vote for more of the same. Why in the world would anybody think anything differently than that? They just say it in plain speak, and there's no, like, demographical breakdown to the details that they're talking about. They're things that matter to every American voter alike.
Yeah, that's what's great is that since this is on MSNBC, of course, the interviewer, and this is probably, you can't see a wide shot when you're watching it. You don't know how many people are in the room, but it feels like there's probably around a dozen people in there.
Yeah.
And so everybody's kind of chiming in. Like whenever you hear people kind of popping back and forth, that's different people the whole time just popping in, because I couldn't hear, like when you're hearing it, when you're watching it's different. They keep trying to ask them questions about race. And for the most part, they keep saying, this doesn't matter to us.
Yeah.
You're asking questions about race. We're telling you that's less important than you're making it.
Yeah, and how offensive is it to sit there as a collected group of black Republicans where MSNBC is talking to you, and they're like, but she's black. And they're like, in their words, not mine, but they're like, no, she's not. That's their viewpoint of it. But the woman says, like, but that she's Indian. These are her words. She's Indian, and that doesn't matter at all to me that she's Indian. Donald Trump said that she, I guess, kind of code switches wherever she goes. I've heard a lot of people from the black community talk about code switching as something that you would understand a lot more if you were in their position, that code switching is a thing. So I respect that perspective on it. But these individuals are saying that they are not looking at her skin color as a qualification or a disqualification for their vote. And like, oh, what? The safety and security of our country is more important. And MSNBC is like, really?
Yeah. And the woman who says, I don't really believe in her education. That's one that if you take it at face value, you could argue, no, you don't understand. Kamala is actually highly educated. You don't get this. And that's a true statement. But she's saying, I don't believe that she's that smart, is what she's saying. And it's amazing because then she that second woman who speaks in there, she goes on to say, I really don't believe that she understands us as well as being portrayed, because that's what's being pushed. It's the vibe. It's all of these like you said, this sort of check the box kind of stuff. And they're saying the exact opposite. It's not important, but even she's not connecting with us on that stuff.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, like, you talk about how she's like trying to connect with everybody on their level. I came from a middle class household. She's all things to all people, and you can't be that.
Kamala did?
Yeah. She's all things to all people, and you can't. And and they like
this
to
changes
keep
everything.
She likes to hang out with people that keep their lawns nice and stuff like. You can't be all things to all people.
That gets me out because.
And people are like, "Why do you relate to Donald Trump? He's not like you." And it's like, no, he doesn't have to be like me. He understands me, but you don't have to be like me to understand me. He's himself. He's his own thing. And then he relates to me in a way because he said, what bothers you? And I am concerned about that. And how can I fix that for you? It's a huge difference.
What a treat from MSNBC. Thank you, Alex Wagner.
That's great.
It's pretty wild.
I don't know where those people are. It looks like they're just hanging out in either a massage place or a Chinese restaurant or something.
Is it a SpongeBob theme where people are running around like throwing papers in the air and acting like they're panicking?
I don't know. Is that a meme?
Or they're just like running back and forth and it's crazy.
I mean, I'm picturing Benny Hill.
Same thing.
Okay.
That's what's happening in my mind in the MSNBC control room when they're watching this. Like, no! Like just one long 3-minute Home Alone.
That the producer's saying, I told Alex we should never go live again.
Yeah, yeah.
We needed to edit this.
It's quite something. And it's refreshing to see people, these are Trump supporters, but there are plenty of disenchanted people with what the Democrat Party has to offer, and they're not afraid to say it. They may not come out and be like, Donald Trump is the godsend to the future of the country. He's our savior. That's not what we're saying. Kamala Harris is a disaster. And it's almost as if they know it. And the weird thing, going back to yesterday's poll question, do you trust the results of the election? It's like you have this gut feeling about how this is going to go, and then you have a secondary follow-up gut feeling of how this is going to go. We got to resolve those. 13 days.
Yeah, you say it, and I almost can't believe it.
13 days. In 14
less
days,
than a
we
week,
may
or less
never
than 2
have
weeks.
to focus on Kamala Harris's voice again.
Now, Tim Walz has a huge future ahead of him, though. I say, watch out for that guy, because he's got me locked up as a Midwesterner.
Here's Tim Walz talking about Elon Musk of all
Elon's
people.
on that stage, jumping around, skipping like a dip on these things. You know it.
Insert video here of Tim Walz entering any stage ever, anywhere.
Exiting a plane, anything. Anything, anytime.
Pumping gas.
I just think of like all of the things that you want. I mean, name a category. Elon Musk has got your number. That's all there is to it.
Listen, little sidebar here, but SNL, you're missing an opportunity that every time you have your guy who is, I guess, Jim Gaffigan, playing Tim Walz, anytime he comes out on stage in a sketch, he should be holding a pig. Like, have your guy always holding a pig and wearing flannel. That's all you need to do.
Can I also just say that if the roles were reversed and J.D. Vance made a comment about Tim Walz or that freaking angry guy from the West Wing who was yelling at you to be more joyful yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He's also the villain in Billy Madison, which is Chef's Kiss stuff there too. But let's say that, what's his name?
Bradley Whitford.
Let's say Bradley Whitford comes out on stage in support of Kamala Harris and does Elon Musk-esque things. And J.D. Vance calls him a dip sugar.
Mm-hmm. Dip sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Fun dip.
Fun dip.
Comes with a stick. You can eat it.
Are you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
If J.D. Vance said that about Bradley Whitford and called him that name and talked about how ridiculous he looked jumping up and down, and Bradley Whitford had Asperger's, 48 hours headline.
Heck yes, it would.
It would be an autism story, and they would get, in my opinion, at least a day's worth of headlines on that J.D. Vance should have known better than saying that. Everybody knows. Elon Musk, when he hosted SNL, came out onto the stage and was like, I have autism. He went and he's like questioning SNL's responsibility in putting somebody on to host the show who is autistic. Like, that was part of what he brought to the table. He has not shied away from it. It's very much a part of who he is. And Asperger's is a socially presenting autism spectrum disorder. And the fact that he goes out on that stage and is jumping up and down, and it looks a little bit different than how Bradley Whitford might actually enter the stage. Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, who has a special needs child, who they amplified when the right attacked his special needs child at the DNC convention. And you can go check the tweets. I was telling the people on the right to shut up because the kid has a condition. It's not necessary to the conversation. You look like idiots criticizing the governor's son. He has nothing to do with this. He was overly joyful. He was acting in a way that was out of the ordinary, but that's the way that child acts, and he has a condition. So don't do that to him. And then he, the father of a special needs kid, is calling Elon Musk, who has Asperger's, is on the autism spectrum, calling him a dip sugar.
Mm-hmm.
What a hypocrite.
Shame
on him. Shame on Tim Walz for doing that.
It's not even hypothetical what you're saying.
No.
For over
all facts.
3 or 4 years, we were told by the same media you're talking about that the president didn't have any problems cognitively. He has a stutter. And then how dare you criticize him for that?
Yeah.
So anything they could find, they would have, and that would have been the story.
Yeah, soulless deceivers they are. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to speak with Josh Lloyd, who is vying for a flip blue to red Congress seat right here in our listening area. Be my congressman. Would he be yours too? Is Nikki Budzinski, the Democrat, yours?
Yes.
All right, can you stand and have a conversation with me?
Absolutely.
I don't know, would he be yours as well?
No, I'm boss.
You're boss? You're in boss. Okay, look at you. Josh Lloyd would like to unseat Nikki Budzinski in the 13th, and we want to talk to him on the Annie Fry Show next. Don't go away.
When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through. That I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place. How can we not talk about them?
The Retirement Advisory Group. If you've been thinking about how to turn that paycheck into a paycheck where you pay yourself back for all the time and sacrifice that you've made into your retirement, you want to know, hey, how soon can I do it? B, how much will I get? You've got all these questions, and you're going to have to make some important moves when you're leaving the workforce and going into that beautiful, beautiful retirement that you've always dreamt of. You want to know that you can have the confidence that you can have the retirement of your dreams. You've worked hard for it. Why not invest in the confidence to make sure that that is the case for you? It starts with a free sit-down conversation with Thomas Helbig or Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group by calling them at 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494. Give them a direct call and schedule this free, doesn't obligate you to anything, conversation with them about where you are, what your hopes and dreams are, and what they can do to help you. So you go into it with open, clear eyes When you get done with that meeting, zero obligation to do anything, but you just might find yourself, like so many other of his clients who have never lost a penny, wanting to sign up with the Retirement Advisory Group. 314-993-9494, online right now at retirementkey.com.
When Greg Hammonds at greghammonds.com talks to people about health insurance, they tell him, number 1, my premiums are too much. Number 2, my deductible is so high I never meet it. And number 3, my doctor doesn't accept my plan anymore. Greg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA market. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible. And they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Greg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance and available all year long, so you can enroll today. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Right now, 38 states allow sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too, and that will generate over $100 million for our schools. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 biggest newspapers, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Here's Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith asking you to vote yes on 2.
Back in my day, I was the wizard of the infield. Now, I'm a grandfather. That's why I'm voting yes on Amendment 2. It means over $100 million for Missouri schools and teachers, and no more broken promises. There's a constitutional guarantee that the money goes to our schools, and legalizing sports betting is great for us fans too. That's why the Royals, Chiefs, Blues, and Cardinals all join me in saying yes on Amendment 2.
Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health From Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health From Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill, or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Is yours? Did you know that there's an R value associated with insulation? To find out your R value or for free insulation estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
And Wagner. Remember, when Iran and these proxies, as they threaten Israel from all sides, they first chant death to Israel, and then they chant death to America.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Well, look, I would say I have a lot of respect. I have a great relationship with the Teamsters, and also, obviously, I worked for 3 years for the International Association of Firefighters. But the labor movement is not monolithic. You know, there are a lot of different unions within the labor movement, and she's overwhelmingly won the vast majority, including the endorsement of the AFL-CIO, which is the umbrella organization that represents the majority of all of the labor movement. So I would actually argue I do believe she has a lot of support from working men and women and the labor movement specifically.
That's Democratic Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski. She represents Illinois' 13th district. That's my district, right across the river in the state of Illinois. She won the 13th after Rodney Davis lost the, I guess he wasn't in the 13th, but they redistricted that. He was the congressman for Illinois' 13th. Redistricting took place. They put him in with Mary Miller's district, and so he was not able to represent the 13th anymore. And it's really interesting if you want to know what gerrymandering looks like, go ahead and look at the Illinois 13th district. It strips through all of the college towns from St. Louis all the way up through like Champaign, Urbana, I believe. They drew this district specifically for Nikki Budzinski, somebody who worked very closely with J.B. Pritzker. And she has been representing those individuals, including myself, right across the river for the last 2 years. We have a contender, somebody who is looking to unseat Nikki Budzinski, and his name is Joshua Lloyd. He's with us now on the Annie Fry Show. Joshua, thank you for being with us today. It's good to talk to you about your efforts to try to reach Congress and turn a blue seat red.
Thank you for having me, Annie.
Of course. So tell me why you decided to run for office. Why do you have your sights set on this congressional seat?
Well, I originally started my congressional run after getting out of the military. I was having some difficulties with the Department of Veterans Affairs. The VA is notorious for a lot of inefficiencies, but I was really feeling it. So they always tell you to reach out to your congressman, your congresswoman, your senator. And so ultimately that's what I did. I reached out to my representative, and she ultimately didn't help at all. No phone call back, no email. So I was spending almost a year in the dark of what was going on within the VA, if I could even receive any service. It took almost 2.5 years to even get my first real appointment scheduled for an operation.
So you kind of born out of you as a constituent needing some congressional representation to help you. Then you take it as far as saying, you know what, I think I'll throw my hat in the ring. How have you felt about campaigning so far this term? What are you hearing from people in the district about what they feel about Nikki Budzinski and what they would like to see happen in the next 2 years?
Things have been going very well, very, very well. I've been traveling for the most part of my campaign throughout the district. I've spoken with mayors, police chiefs, constituents throughout the district, and even some very strong Democrats. And even within the Democratic Party, they are very upset with her leadership, how she acts in Congress, and essentially the bills she's been voting on and how she's voting. When it comes to the district itself, one good example is East St. Louis. So I've been in East St. Louis and Cahokia Heights quite a bit. And just speaking with individuals, a lot of individuals are really upset that their elected representatives are not focused on them. They're not helping in any way. There's been issues for over 30 years that have never been addressed until it received a major news story. And then after the major news story, then, they got a lot of lip service from elected officials. Nothing so far. So, for example, Cahokia was promised something like $49 million. They only received $5 million, and they came and finished the updates of their treatment plants or their pump stations. But with that said, a lot of individuals are also voting for Trump. I have been seeing that quite a bit. So we will have to see how that plays down ballot as well.
Joshua Lloyd, this is Ryan Wiggins. I'm in your district as well. When people see in our district, which goes all over the place, as Annie mentioned, I mean, this district is drawn like somebody fell asleep. Just drew it all over the map. When people drive through Illinois' 13th district and they see a Nikki Budzinski sign, what do you want them to think of when they see a Nikki Budzinski sign?
I want them to think of the corrupt establishment. Everything corrupt within our government. That is where she stands. She was tied with J.B. Pritzker. She's been tied with Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, George Soros. And if you know anything about dark money, she's also tied with a group called Arabella. Arabella is what funds under the table a lot of Democratic races. and you can't track where those donations or those contributions are going.
Yeah, I think that Nikki Budzinski is probably one of the most successful things she's done. She's been able to lay very low for these 2 years. She hasn't tried to make a huge name for herself on a national level. It seems as though she's kind of, tried to stick with pretty safe votes up and down. You would obviously bring something different to the table than Nikki Budzinski has so far. What's the stark difference, Josh, between you, Joshua Lloyd, and Nikki Budzinski, the Democrat, for office?
I'm very reachable. If anyone calls me, I put my phone number on my website. If they reached out on Facebook, I always respond, hopefully within an hour. And a lot of people are really surprised that when they reach out to me, they're actually contacting me and not someone within the campaign, a staffer of any sort. But when it comes down to it, a lot of her votes are very left-leaning. For example, there's a lot of hesitation with the integrity of the election. And when it comes to any vote on election integrity, she always votes no. For example, the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, she voted no. And securing our border, voted no. And it's just disappointing to see that something simple as saying only Americans can vote in U.S. elections and her voting no on that, even if it doesn't do anything, it's a big statement that you support only Americans voting in U.S. elections. Why would you vote no against that?
Joshua Lloyd, again, Ryan Wiggins here. Is there any way that she is breaking with the party, or is she basically, Nikki Budzinski, just a Democrat rubber stamp?
She is absolutely a Democrat rubber stamp. And she's playing it smart. She knows that being a freshman, there's a lot of hesitation. Her name recognition isn't quite as popular as someone as AOC. So she's playing the long game. I definitely see that if she gets reelected, she's going to take a stark contrast with how she's voting now and become even more blue.
We're speaking with Joshua Lloyd, who is challenging Democrat Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski for the opportunity to represent the 13th district in the state of Illinois in Congress. When you are talking to constituents, where are you talking to them? And how are you feeling about the tone of voters, red versus blue, Republican versus Democrat, Trump versus Kamala Harris? How do you feel about it?
When I say I speak to constituents, I mean everywhere. Everywhere from Belleville in St. Clair County up to Edwardsville in Madison County, all the way over to Champaign-Urbana. I am on the ground speaking with individuals. And when it comes to the tone, a lot of individuals, Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter. They are very disappointed with the leadership over the last 4 years. And they want to see a stark contrast with this upcoming election. I've had numerous Democrats call me. One individual called me yelling and screaming, and I thought he was mad at me. I thought he was really upset with me, but it turned out he was disappointed in how his former party, the Democratic Party, was treating the country. Prices increased everywhere across the board. We're not respected on the world stage anymore, and a lot of our industry is actually moving overseas. And they're not securing our country like they should.
Well, Joshua Lloyd, we thank you for the time today. I encourage people to go to LloydForCongress.com to learn more about you. And if they choose to support you financially, I'm sure they can do that there as well. As you're running for Congress's 13th District of Illinois representation, we appreciate you being on with us today. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Annie.
Of course, we appreciate you. Joshua Lloyd, if you were looking to flip one seat, and like the impact of every congressional flip in this election is going to be massive. We've got like a couple seat majority, people retiring, resigning, whatever. In the middle of the 2-year term, one seat makes a huge difference. Joshua Lloyd in the Illinois 13 would be a blue to red. So if you're interested in supporting Joshua, make sure you go to LloydForCongress.com. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, let's talk about the YouTube live chat poll. Have you voted in it yet? I hope so, but if you haven't, now's the time to scoot on over to the YouTube live chat poll. Does January 6th influence your vote? Yes, and a major influence? Yes, and a minor influence, or no influence? Go vote. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
If you missed it yesterday, we had Todd Sivia in studio with us to talk about Estate Planning Awareness Week. Do you have your estate planned out? Do you even know what that means for you? Do you have a will? Do you know that if you have a will, that doesn't keep you out of probate? A lot of people don't know that or understand that. You want a trust put in place. When you call 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL, you need to call them right now because they're giving 10% off to the first bunch of people from the show who give them the call at 833-995-WILL. It's a great opportunity to save money. You are going to understand how all of this gets laid out, and they have a commitment to you. 2 weeks from your first sit down of your strategy sessions, in 2 weeks you have completed documents. That means you go into this space mentally, you get everything prepared, you get it done, the documents are taken care of, and then you just breathe easy. 833-995-WILL. 833-995-WILL. And as we approach Veterans Day, a reminder that on Veterans Day, the first 20 veterans at each of the 5 offices that they have across the bi-state region to call 833-995-WILL on Veterans Day will receive complimentary health and financial powers of attorney as a sign of Civia Law's gratitude for your service to our country. It's over $300 value. Reach out to them at 833-995-WILL or find them online at Civia. That's SIVIA, CiviaLaw.com.
Favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. Even if she accidentally knocks out a side accent diamond, Diamonds Direct will replace it free. Now, other stores claim to offer warranties, but the catch is that they won't honor it unless you bring your ring in for regular inspections. But at Diamonds Direct, inspections are never required. There's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Plain and simple, at Diamonds Direct, we stand behind what we sell, and we're committed to service it at no charge for life, period. It's all part of our commitment to provide you with the ultimate in value and total confidence before, during, and long after your purchase. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more. Proud to call the Lou home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Tony LaRussa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how. Learn now. Let Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Del's team live in St. Louis. 2 days only at the Hilton Frontenac, Saturday and Sunday, November 9th and 10th. Register now at DelHelpMeNow.com. That's DelHelpMeNow.com. Enter promo code 2024 for a special discount offer. DelHelpMeNow.com. Code 2024.
Whether you have already voted or you're going to vote in 13 days, the YouTube live chat poll is asking this question. Does January 6th influence your vote? Is it a major influence, minor, or no influence at all? You can vote in this poll, and then we will give you the results at the end of the show today at about 2:55 Central Time. YouTube live chat poll. 147 right now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is happening now. Tune into the Annie Fry Show live stream. Vote and be a part of the conversation by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube. Subscribe and leave a comment. This is The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
All right, stop, collaborate and listen. I sit back with my brand new invention.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. It's been a good show so far. Jack Posobiec joined us in the 12 o'clock hour at 12:25. If you stream us on the Odyssey app, you can check the podcasts there as well and catch Jack Posobiec and his conversation surrounding the election, of course. A really interesting conversation about faith, his faith specifically. But he wrote a book along with Joshua Lysick, his co-author, wrote a book called Bulletproof, and it's all centered around the assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life. And I encourage you to check out the book, but also to listen to the podcast. You got to listen to that interview. Were you able to take the whole thing in?
Yeah, I loved it. It was really good just listening to him talk about the assassination attempt and some of the things that, we saw. But when you analyze them moment by moment, you forget. Certainly, it was just a couple months ago. But the picture I think he used on the cover of his book is Trump down with his hands clasped, almost like
you can see him like between some CIA legs or arms or something like that.
Yeah, obviously, there's lots of people around him. His hands look almost clasped. And just listening to Jack talk a little bit about some of the possible supernatural elements of God protecting him that day is really neat.
The YouTube live chat poll for today is regarding a conversation that we started yesterday. And, we were talking about trusting the results of the election and so on and so forth, but also how January 6th is one of the key issues that is brought up by the left on a regular basis, like the support of Donald Trump. In the eyes of the way some people seem to view it and the words in which they seem to explain it, if you support Donald Trump, you're as bad as somebody who breached the Capitol on January 6th. You're an insurrectionist. And so the question that we have for today is, does January 6th influence your vote? Major influence, minor influence, or no influence? I kind of changed this from what we were discussing yesterday, like, does January 6th matter to you at all, yes or no? And the reason, sometimes I leave it like this, but I thought that this was too important of an issue to just leave up to inference, because January 6th means a whole lot to some people who think that we almost lost our country that day. And it also means a lot to people who feel like we almost lost our country that day because they don't have the answers to the questions of what took place that day. The questions of such little security that was available that day. Like, this is an obvious thing to prepare for, and they chose not to. The Fed's unwillingness to confirm or deny whatever their capacity was in plain clothes that day. I'm somebody who wants answers. I'm somebody who believes that we don't have the full picture, that we intentionally don't have the full picture, that the picture that we have access to will look very different based on who wins this election. I do not believe that we almost lost our country that day. And I do believe, as I said yesterday, that the people who benefited the most from the chaos of that day were the Democrat Party. The actual constitutional process of challenging results to an election was about to commence. They had it laid out how they were going to do it. I personally believe that there are going to be some people who would have participated in the challenging of the results, and that it would have potentially quickly been rectified or concluded, and Joe Biden absolutely still would have become the president of the United States. I believe that that's what would have happened. But when the chaos ensued, the constitutional process was stopped, and Congress threw in the towel on what they were going to do, and they certified the election. I believe wholeheartedly that the Democrats had the most to gain by what happened that day and the way that it happened. And the inability to talk about it and ask questions and get answers that aren't of the canceling variety, where if you dare say, but, were there plainclothes officers, agents? I think we haven't really gotten a clear answer on Ray Epps. I'd like a clear answer on Ray Epps. It's just there's so many inconsistencies and blank spaces that if we got the facts behind it and the facts bear out the way you would hope that they would bear out, then we wouldn't have all these question marks. And there are a lot of question marks. So yeah. I'm a yes, it influences my vote, but minorly, because I want to know the truth, and I know the only way to do that is to get Donald Trump reelected.
I'm a no influence on this poll. I was interested in this story on January 6th and January 7th. And by January 8th, I think it became something to me that I thought was just going to become a trespassing violation, and it was going to lose interest because it was the stupidest coup I've ever seen, if that was a coup. But they've almost made me stay interested in it because of the things you're talking about. I would have moved on instantly, but there's been so much scrutiny of it from the left that the right has had to do scrutiny of it and found out that there were, it looks like, some law enforcement or some sort of operatives in there instigating violence who have not been punished for that in the same way that people who walked into the building were punished. So there's been a very two-tier justice system for people, and then you just go, why is this happening? So there's so many questions that have come up because of the scrutiny of January 6th that have made me interested in it that I wouldn't have otherwise. I'm still, though, does this influence my vote? No influence.
I'm going to be honest, it doesn't influence my vote at all. I hated what I saw on January 6th, but at no point during that entire process, as it was unfolding live before my eyes, did I ever think that the country was at risk of being overthrown. I didn't think that a bunch of people in MAGA hats going into the Capitol was enough to overthrow the country. It was not what I wanted to see from people who voted like me. It's not what I wanted to see from anybody. I didn't like the trash scattered on the ground in the Capitol afterwards. I didn't like any of that, the broken glass, all of it. Hated all of that. But it wasn't a threat to the country. The country didn't almost fall. It wasn't the worst day in U.S. history. There's been many worse days. And
unfortunately, the bar is a little bit higher than that.
Yeah, and there's been many worse days in the Capitol itself. There's bloodstains on the steps from Congress people shooting people in Congress. This wasn't the worst day. It wasn't. It wasn't even close to the worst day in American history. And I'm just so over it, and I really don't even want to think about it. That's how much it doesn't influence my vote.
I want the details.
Well, I do too now. But, that's come about because of the continued coverage of it.
It kind of influences my vote, and that's why I say minorly, because it's the main influence of the left. I want it. I want Trump to win more to get to the bottom of what is taking place there. I want to know, like when we talked to Jack Posobiec in the first hour, I want to know why. I had the words written down on my paper, and I didn't get to say these to Jack because we kind of addressed it in the words he was saying without me having to ask the question. But incompetence, negligence, or malfeasance. Doesn't have to be one or the other, but what was it? What actually happened? Officer Gary says about the poll, does January 6th influence your vote? No, absolutely, positively, without a doubt, no. And Erica says, I could not care less about January 6th. The liberals love it because it gives them unending talking points. Let us know what you think. Annie Fry YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
AirComfortService.com is the website. Have you looked at it yet to help make sure that your furnace is in good working order? There is a great way to save on that furnace repair replacement that you've been putting off. Here's the deal. Go to aircomfortservice.com or call them directly at 314-513-0091 and check out the Carrier Cool Cash rebates that are in play for you right now. If you need a new furnace, boiler, heat pump, and an entire HVAC system, call Corey and the team at Air Comfort Service at 314-513-0091 and talk to them about Carrier Cool Cash rebates that are back through November 23rd. You can save up to $2,100 on Carrier Cool Cash with qualifying HVAC equipment. Plus, in addition to that, you can qualify for 0% financing up to 72 months, utility rebates, tax credits, the whole thing. They're going to do everything they can to save you every penny that you can. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow, and hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes, and find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
She says he wants unchecked power. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The vice president calling former President Trump increasingly unhinged and unstable after new allegations from a former Trump administration official.
Former White House chief of staff and former President Trump's Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly told the New York Times his one-time boss meets the definition of fascism.
This is a window into who Donald Trump really is, from the people who know him best.
Vice President Kamala Harris says former President Trump wants a military loyal to him personally and not the Constitution.
One that will obey his orders even when he tells them to break the law.
Less than 2 weeks before Election Day, Harris has been barnstorming battleground states with former GOP officials in a bid to appeal to Republican voters.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. A former Defense Department chief of staff, Kash Patel, is now senior Trump national security advisor.
It is absolutely disgusting for me, who ran the Department of Defense, to see the politicization of our members, of our men and women who wore the cloth of our nation to defend us and our freedoms, and then to come out at the 11th hour to try and make up more stories.
A Trump campaign spokesperson calls Harris increasingly desperate, saying she's lying and losing. Trump campaigns today in Georgia, where an early voting surge continues, now topping 2 million. That's turnout of more than 28% so far. Harris has a town hall event in Pennsylvania. The White House says at least 3,000 North Korean troops have been training in Russia, and there's concern they could be sent to Ukraine.
Russia is suffering extraordinary casualties on the battlefield every single day, but President Putin appears intent on continuing this war. If Russia is indeed forced to turn to North Korea for manpower, this would be a sign of weakness, not strength, on the part of the Kremlin.
National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby says North Korean soldiers who join the fight would become legitimate military targets. America is listening to Fox News.
Moments like making my kids my famous meatballs mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
High pressure in control with plenty of sunshine going through our Wednesday afternoon. 75 for the high. Tonight, clear skies. Temperatures will drop back into the 60s. Quite mild, though, for late October. Chilly overnight, though, 48. Thursday, sunny and 74. Then Thursday night, couple of scattered showers. Friday, partly to mostly sunny, 78. In the 60s, so cooler over the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com.
The Roots and Boots Tour, 90s Electric Throwdown. With Sammy Kershaw. That's my story. Colin Ray. Oh, that's my story. And Aaron Tippett. Saturday, November 9th at the Family Arena.
There ain't nothing wrong.
Reserved seats on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office, located at the Family Arena or at Ticketmaster. Roots and Boots Tour, 90s Electric Throwdown.
Step into a world of enchantment this holiday season with Cirque Musica Holiday Wonderland. From awe-inspiring acrobatics to gravity-defying aerial feats, it's the perfect fusion of circus artistry and beloved holiday songs in a celebration guaranteed to create memories for the entire family. December 5th, 7 p.m., the Family Arena. On sale at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Inspire your holiday spirit with Cirque Musica Holiday Wonderland.
Save money at Ruler Foods. Shop for your groceries at Ruler Foods. Go visit Ruler Foods and listen to what I've been saying. I've been telling you. When you shop at Ruler Foods, your grocery bill is smaller. I don't really know that I need 60 seconds to explain to you the value of going to Ruler Foods more than that. They are clean stores. They are well-organized stores. They have the name brands that you love. They have Kroger brands, which is a great, I don't know if it's called an off-brand anymore. I feel like if I say that, it's going to be like the wrong thing. But that's what it is. It's Kroger brands. We purchased many of those for our household. We're feeding a family of 6. One of them's a almost 15-year-old boy. That's like a family of 7. And Ruler Foods makes it affordable and, possible for us to be able to get the fresh produce that we want so we can still feed our kids, our family in a healthy way. I trust Ruler Foods with my credit card, my debit card, my checking account, with my kids, the products that they have available, and the great sales that they have on top of the everyday low prices. Learn all about it at rulerfoods.com.
Looking for thick, healthy, gorgeous hair? Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair. And hello to thick, healthy hair with hair volume from New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
You can help those affected by this disastrous hurricane season by visiting redcross.org or calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. Message and data rates apply. Together, we can help those who've been affected. Thanks for helping. Conservatives care on 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Appreciate you being with us here this afternoon. It's been a fun show. We've had a busy show. We had Jack Posobiec on at the beginning, and he was talking about his new book that he has out called Bulletproof. I almost said on humans. That's the one that he released just a little bit before. And that's a really good book, too. I'm about halfway through that one. Isn't it amazing that Donald Trump was shot this summer and this guy somehow or another got on? Remember the sloped roof thing? you remember the sloped roof?
Yes.
Did you see Secret Service on the sloped roof when they went back?
There were Congress people walking around up there.
Did you see this is hard to laugh at because both situations are so tragic, but did you see in the wake of Hurricane Helene, there was a cow or a horse standing on a sloped roof, surrounded by water?
No, I did not see that. But I believe it. But it slipped off immediately, right?
Huh?
It slipped off immediately, couldn't stand.
No,
right?
It was just hanging out there waiting to be rescued, and it was.
Wow. Great.
I look at the McDonald's visit by Donald Trump. I just think that's the gift that keeps on giving for Donald Trump. 100% win. A+. Any doubt about that?
No. I wasn't here Monday, and I was not paying attention to the news. We were traveling. That broke through, though. That was everywhere.
Did you see it on Sunday?
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't avoid it. If you were on your phone or anything, it was there.
We've seen Trump and J.D. Vance and Kamala Harris. I don't know if Tim Walz done many podcasts? I feel like he hasn't.
That's a good question. I can't think of any that he has done.
Kamala Harris has done some podcasts. I'm not really familiar with the podcast she goes on, per se. Well, I mean, I know who Charlamagne the God is. She talked to Howard Stern. Howard Stern is beside himself that this isn't a blowout. Howard Stern thinks that people like you and me are anti-American, bigoted rubes. The existence of people who are as dumb, uninformed, or hateful as people like you and me who would vote for Donald Trump, he's disgusted at the thought. I'm going back to, I asked you if you'd seen Wonka, and you said you had seen Wonka.
The new one.
The new one. You haven't.
No.
This is such a small amount of people maybe listening who have seen it. If you haven't seen it, absolutely watch it. You'll love it. But there's this part in Wonka where it's very much the haves and have-nots, which is a story about the haves and have-nots. And there's these three, they're the three bad guys, and they're the haves. They're the rich, wealthy people, whatever. And one of them can't even stand audibly the sound of the word poor. And it makes me laugh so much because he starts to say, and he's like, and then he can't get it out. And then the person behind him says something poor, and he goes, and there's a running joke through the film where every time the word poor comes up, he's somewhere dry heaving in the background. To me, that's the Howard Stern visceral reaction to people like you and me.
I'm fine with that. And I'll tell you why. It's not because I enjoy being hated. It's one of those weird things that when people come up to you, go, how do you work in conservative media? People, it's like you got to just have thicker skin. You just do. But these celebrities and these influencers, they are cashing in everything they've got on this guy. Where do they go from here?
I don't know. The book's about to be complete.
Yeah.
You're going to have to find a new story.
It is. And that's what's amazing is you've done everything you could for almost, at the end of this, it'll be, 12 years? And there's nothing left. You can't use any more hyperbole than you already have. So going into a possible 4 more years of Donald Trump, they've just lost their influence. And that's okay because they've done that to themselves.
And when you watch Donald Trump walk into that McDonald's and they're like, oh, right, this waiter, he's like, should I take my coat off? And they're like, sure. So he takes his navy blue coat off. He puts on the apron, the red tie, and the white crisp dress shirt stays. And then he goes in front of the fryer and he listens to this person and he is flawless. He hits it, not a home run. It's a World Series winning grand slam at the exact right point of this election and this campaign. He goes and shows all the haters, those people who can't control themselves. They've got this burning fire inside of them. And it just goes out and it just spews over, their keyboards onto your social media feeds. And they never miss an opportunity to explain to you how much they detest Donald Trump by trying to apply their absolute mental disgust for another human being onto you. The projection is wild. And the funny thing is, here we are 3 3/4 of the way through Kamala Harris's current time in the Oval Office with the president, Joe Biden, who is who knows where, he doesn't even know. She has power. Everybody wants change. The consideration of Donald Trump coming back into play has never been more attractive than it is in this moment in time. Because now those people who are so repulsed by the vision of Donald Trump's orangish skin and fluffy blonde hair and the navy suit that always looks on point and the white shirt that is clean and crisp as can be and this beautiful crimson tie. They see it and they can't help themselves. They just need you to hate him so much. And you're like, whoa, dude. Like, there are people in this world that I don't like, but are you okay? Like, I'm not a hugger. Do you need a hug? And they take it so seriously. These people are so serious that you can't take them seriously. They take themselves so seriously that they are unserious people. Because nothing matters. If Donald Trump loses this election and Kamala Harris wins the presidency, these people will be as unhappy on Wednesday as they are today. There's no change in their level of mental stability because they will still know that Donald Trump is on the face of the planet, that Donald Trump made an impact on the future of this country and the history of this country that will never be changed, and they don't know what to do with that. Imagine being mid-December and Kamala Harris wins the election and Donald Trump is still the first thought you have in your mind. I'm sorry, not sorry. That sucks. I'm sorry. I feel for those people, but what could possibly be done for them?
I do too. I actually do feel for those people. I feel bad because when you're that, I hate to even use the word because I do feel bad for them, but when you're that deranged, it's like,
it's pity.
How do you help? How do you help somebody? And it's not as if there's not crazies on both sides of the aisle, but when you have somebody that is that easily triggered by the crimson tie, all the things you just listed, it does make you feel bad. And I want to make clear, too, that it is okay. Howard Stern is in shock that people could have a different worldview from him. That is okay.
It's wild to me because we've all lived the same existence that Howard Stern has.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
I mean, I sometimes am in shock.
I, for the record, have never been there.
I sometimes have been there where I am in awe that somebody could actually believe in communism or believe in the things around it that are leading to it, even if you don't see it for communism, for what it is. But I don't hate those people.
No.
And I don't go crazy when I meet them.
You disagree with them.
Yes. And it's not as if I see a Kamala Harris sign and I'm going to drive my car over it. These are crazy things that people are doing, and it shows where you're at mentally.
In the world of these seriously unserious people that eat, sleep, breathe Donald Trump, I mean, Donald Trump has no bigger fans than these people. They need him. It's a weird place to be. They're so serious. They're taking everything so seriously. And then J.D. Vance goes on the Theo Von This Past Weekend podcast.
I don't know if I'd be sober if this stuff weren't killing people, to be honest with you. I know that's sad to say, but that keeps me out of the risk of it. It just makes it too...
Makes it a little scarier.
Yeah, that's the thing. It makes it scarier.
Yeah.
But it's also sad that somebody... I mean, this is ridiculous to say, probably, that somebody can't... you can't even do cocaine in this country anymore, And that seems like a crazy thing to say. And don't say that. Don't say that. But I said it. But yeah. But don't say that anymore.
I'm going to steal that line. That's going to after the election, though, man.
No.
We got to win first.
It's unfortunate.
So I listened to probably 2/3 of this podcast last night. It was like over 2 hours long, so I got through as much as I could before bedtime called. But while all of this seriousness is taking place, Theo Von, which if you've never watched, we talked a lot about the Donald Trump interview that Theo Von did, and we played some of those clips. I mean, this guy does and says things the way nobody else is doing it. And I was kind of explaining this before the show when I was talking with Ethan about it. Like, the Theo Von way of interviewing, all of the stops and obstacles that should go in front of a guy like Theo Von to be like, you need to find something else, dude. This isn't your thing. He leapt over all of those, and now he is in his own lane like a shining star. And I cannot stop watching because he is incredibly smart. He is incredibly witty. He's incredibly quick, but he also is super normal. I think people see Theo Von and the person in your life who is like that. There's a lovability about Theo Von that makes you want to hear what he's going to do next, what he's going to say in front of a senator, a United States senator, potentially the vice president of the United States. And he's saying, you can't even do cocaine in America anymore. Again, going back to the conversation we had about Tim Walz calling Elon Musk a dip sugar because he was bouncing around on the stage. When Elon Musk has Asperger's, he's on the autism spectrum, and you've got Tim Walz up there making fun of somebody who is well known to be on the spectrum. When Tim Walz himself has a special needs kid, Tim Walz's kid, he has that what I consider to be 100% appropriate bubble around him that should protect him from the consequences of his dad running for office. A common reaction to that is, Annie, they didn't treat Barron like that. No, but they should have. And we should be, yes, better than they are and not go after some kid because his reaction was a little out of the ordinary of what you're normally used to seeing because he has a condition. But Tim Walz, this kid's father, will make fun of Asperger's Elon Musk, who's open and honest about his condition, will make fun of his behavior on the stage. Like I said, Tim Walz, you should be absolutely ashamed of yourself. But in the same instance, you've got the president of the United States, whose son is probably the most famous coke user in the country right now. Hunter Biden was telling Good Morning America or somebody that he's snorted Parmesan cheese out of hotel carpets or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that was on the floor. That's right.
Like he has been so outward and forward about this that what you have here is Theo Von in his Theo Von way talking to J.D. Vance, who famously came from dirt poor circumstances in Ohio with a mother who was an absolute addict, and he was raised by his mama, isn't that what he called her?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Raised by his mama because his mother was derelict in her addiction problems and has now, he told the story, it was a very heartwarming story where he talks about where his mother is in his life right now and how wonderful that has come full circle. But the truth of the story there is Theo Von is bringing into the conversation something that is important, that fentanyl, because of China, has made its way into drugs that they were talking about. Listen, when my mom was in addiction and she got on the wagon and she decided to become sober, and you fall off the wagon, and Theo Von is celebrating sobriety right now, but he said he's been on and off the wagon before. He said, J.D. Vance is like, in the saddest of possible ways, what fentanyl has done for to this country, to the Americans in this country, what fentanyl has done has limited the amount of times that you can seek sobriety and fall off the wagon. Because when you fall off the wagon and fentanyl is in play, you're dead. And it doesn't matter if it's a one-time mistake. If something gets laced that you take in, fentanyl is killing people. And you're not allowed to make any mistakes anymore. Before fentanyl, the way people would be able to kind of go in and out of sobriety, it's a very difficult and challenging thing to do. And it's always important to know that you can always get back on the wagon again and that people will embrace you in doing that. They're having a real serious conversation in a somewhat unserious way, but it's important. And people relate to that. People hear that and they understand it. And it means something to people because it's real. Kamala Harris is incapable of that. She hasn't had a single moment that I can think of, and I'd be happy to admit I was wrong, say, oh yeah, I can kind of see that one. She has not had a single moment in this campaign, or one I can think of in a campaign she's been in before or as vice president, where she showed true, honest Kamala Harris humanity.
Yeah, and if you put aside policy for a second, which we tend to not do, but when you watch that with Theo Von, and he's interviewed Trump now and Vance, but he's just watching Vance there. It humanizes people. You get past all the glitz, the signs, the talking points, and you just listen to somebody talk and you go, oh, they're actually pretty normal. And that's bipartisan. That's what's amazing is that there are Democrat politicians. I have watched them on podcasts. I'll even name Gavin Newsom's one of them. If you watch him on a podcast, he actually comes across as somebody who just seems like a dude. Totally fine.
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama's another one. They just
Except
seem
for
like
when he's
people.
trying to be Eminem. Like, you don't need to do that.
That was a little weird. They just seem like people, and that's great. That's actually great for the country, bipartisan. But you're right, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz can't really do that. And they've tried. They've been on podcasts. Everybody's, oh my gosh, I can't believe Kamala went on the Who's Your Daddy podcast or whatever that was. The Call Me Dad. What I don't even remember the name of it. But it was apparently this big podcast.
I don't think it's Who's Your Daddy.
You watch it.
But if that title is open, I think that's what you should call your podcast.
I will. And it'll be basically just Maury Povich.
Call her daddy.
Call her daddy.
Thank you, Ethan.
Thank you.
From the fact-checking nook.
She went on that podcast, and there were leftist influencers that were grabbing the best ofs, and you were like, man, it's just not very good.
It's not good.
And that's pure performance. That's not policy. That's just hang out, have a beer.
Everybody knows what it's like when you meet a genuine person. And being a genuine person looks different with every single person.
Absolutely.
But you can tell when you're being sold or when you're meeting a new human being. You're connecting with a new soul. You can tell. And America is trying to be sold right now. Going back to that woman on that MSNBC thing, like, you're going to tell us to vote for 4 more years of this? Are you crazy? God, I hope that we're not. Let's take a quick break. The YouTube live chat poll does January 6th influence your vote? Yes, in a major way. Yes, in a minor way, or no influence at all. Anti-Fry YouTube channel. Come say hi over there. If you've never said hi before, we want to meet you. On the Anti-Fry YouTube channel, you can vote on that poll in the live chat. We'll be back after this.
I'll be the one who's tough. You'll be the one who's got it rough.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I'm here to support that understanding that when others can't, Cassins can. Have you been looking for a vehicle? Well, give Cassins the opportunity to earn your business. One of the best things about Cassins is the longevity of the people they have there selling cars. They are wonderful at what they do, and so much of their business comes from repeat customers or generational families who are like, that's where you go. It's just what you do. Glen Carbon, Illinois is the location. You can go online to cassinscan.com. That's cassinscan.com. Go check out the different vehicles that they have available to you. The other day, my husband's car was getting something fixed, or I don't know, tires rotated or something, and they lent him a lime green Charger. And you've got Mr. Fry, and you guys know Mr. Fry. He's not really like lime green Charger material, would you say?
I wouldn't put him in that category.
No. But like he knew that he was totally posing. But when he took the kids to school and dropped them off in this lime green Charger, they still talk to him. Like if he goes in the school, they're like, do you still have the car? Do you still have the car? They've got everything at Cassins, and you can go and check it out online right now at cassinscan.com and see the inventory that they have. And I'll tell you this, connect with one of their amazing sales reps there. If you're looking for something specifically, 618-800-2712, 618-800-2712. If they don't have it, they'll help you find it. cassinscan.com.
Weather can be unpredictable nowadays, but your local news station on the free Odyssey app has got you covered. Whether you need an umbrella, windbreaker, or an extra layer, or two, we'll let you know. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station to listen on your smartphone or ask your smart speaker to play it before you head out the door. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station. That's AUDACY.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Estella's Pharma.
All righty, we're
getting ready to come into winter here where we're going to be using our furnaces. A lot of you are getting prices now, or you're getting your furnaces checked and you're being told that you have an issue with your furnace and you need a new furnace. So if that is the case and you want a very simple common sense approach to picking a furnace, if that's the case, I'd appreciate you calling and giving me a chance to meet with you and discuss your options. So call me. It's one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. Just one number. Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. That's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, or on the web is bartinman.com. Now that is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Missouri's Amendment 3 is cleverly worded to convince you that it only allows abortions until fetal viability. But it has loopholes that allow for abortions through all 9 months of pregnancy. Abortion proponents used to say safe, legal, and rare. But now they want abortion as common as the morning after pill. Plus, minor-age children will have access to sex change surgeries without parental consent. Vote no on Amendment 3.
Paid for by Leadership for America PAC, John B. Royal Treasurer.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 On Command. Just tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 FM Talk. Or download the Odyssey app and stay on top of everything happening anytime, even when you're not close to a radio. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
It would be interesting to hear his perspective on a lot of things. I would like to know, what is it like when you actually get into office? I would like to know things like, what is it like versus perception?
Yeah.
What is it actually like when you get in that building? What is the machine that runs this country? Because it's very clear that it's not as simple as elected representatives that are doing the will of the people. It's not.
Joe Rogan is going to host Donald Trump Friday on his podcast, the most listened to podcast in the world? Definitely in the country.
Let's say the world.
In the universe.
In the universe, really, yeah.
That sounds like a Jim Carafano endorsement of the show.
Well, I don't know about Martian podcasts.
Galaxy?
Again, Martians.
The Martians.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be huge for Donald Trump to go on to this podcast. And you've got Joe Rogan talking about, like, what's it like to be the president of the United States? Like, what's it like to really be in there? I mean, you're still a human being doing all the normal human being things, but you're the president of the United States. Do you know what this is? This is a massive effort at humanizing Donald Trump. This is a huge problem for Kamala Harris if it's executed the way I anticipate that it will be.
Yeah. The questions he's even teasing in that clip, I want to hear the answers to those questions, because some of them are just kind of like, what's it like? You're a person. What's it like when you get in there? But also, there's some real deep state questions he sounds like he's about to ask about who's really running the show. And I think Trump is the kind of guy that would relish answering those questions, because you're not really going to get those questions if you do a town hall. You know, that's a podcast question.
What do you mean? What do you make of all of these stories that are surfacing right now? The Atlantic reported that was it John? One of the people in Trump's administration was talking about how Trump admired Hitler's generals or something.
Oh,
Kelly said that about the generals. I don't know if that was the Atlantic, because there was also an Atlantic story about Donald Trump getting mad about a funeral cost.
That other thing. And the family has come out and been like, do not talk about her this way. We voted for Trump. We love him. He was generous with his time. There's a lot of things that are just being peppered right now in the media to see if anything gets some legs and makes a difference. Here's what I think. If you've got this, I'm looking at quantity right now over quality. I'm sure that there are October surprises in the pockets of each campaign, and they're waiting for the right opportune time to put them into motion. But are you telling me that you've hated Donald Trump for this long, but you waited till October 23rd of 2024 to be like, oh, and he liked Hitler's generals? And another thing, I don't believe you. And I know what the military people who we talk, gosh, if you go back and listen to the Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg interview that we did earlier this week, and you talk about how he knows Donald Trump on an incredibly personal level, working with him person to person towards the same goals. And he told a story about how I'm going to say this right now. Lindsey Graham looks like J.D. Vance is looking through a window behind him. I thought that's what was happening right now on Fox News. I was like, what is he doing back there? Sorry, this is a total distracting moment. Steve's going to talk to us about that later.
You can see it if I move my camera.
Yeah, for sure, on the YouTube Live. I just don't understand how you get to this point in the process of the campaign and you've got like this one other card you're going to play. It would be a big deal if Donald Trump was like, but you know those Hitler generals, and he was going to go out there and defend that. You've got Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg on this show specifically, just off the cuff, telling an anecdote of during COVID, the general is in the Oval Office with Trump, and Trump says, I just want everybody to be okay. And Kellogg says, go down there and say that to the press and the cameras right now. And he goes, I can't show weakness. That is as Trump as it gets. That is as Trump as it gets. I believe that wholeheartedly. He didn't know I was going to ask the question about what it's like to look at Donald Trump hanging out of a drive-through McDonald's window, knowing the things that he's seen Donald Trump. He's told other stories. Kellogg has told other stories on this show before about the BA-ness of Donald Trump and his willingness to lead with strength. And then he's serving French fries at McDonald's. I'm like, can these possibly be the same people? And he said 100%.
This is General John Kelly that has come out and say this. Now there was also I think it was John Kelly, actually, the Atlantic article, and this is separate from what you were talking about, Brad, but remember back when, this is probably, it might have been 2020, where apparently the story was that Donald Trump was riding through France and he saw a bunch of American tombstones.
Didn't want to go to the cemetery.
And he said, that's full of suckers and losers, was the quote that the Atlantic went with. 25 people in the entourage with the president all said, that didn't happen. We were all there, but one guy said it. I think it was John Kelly, same guy. And they said, well, it must be true. Think about that in any other context. If you have 26 to 27 witnesses and one of them says one thing and the other 25 say another thing, who you believe?
Well, here's the other thing, too. I mean, the answer to that is obviously you don't believe Kelly. And this guy is a loser a-hole who hates Trump.
Yes, he does.
Doesn't like what Trump has done to his reputation. And these people, their reputation and ego is everything. And Trump's not excluded from that category. His ego and his reputation is everything to him. But here's the thing about the suckers and losers thing that really, really gets under my skin. If you believe everybody else who was there who said that did not happen, it's been debunked multiple times. If you believe that everybody else said that did not happen, then in essence, John Kelly had the wherewithal to come up with the idea that those people were suckers and losers. So John Kelly called them suckers and losers. John Kelly is the one who put the idea out into the world that these people in this military cemetery are suckers and losers. That came out of his head. It is a sick and twisted thought. The problem here is that it's John Kelly's sick and twisted thought. It's not Donald Trump's. And you've been open your eyes, people. You've been sold over and over and over again on lies that the lapdog media is willfully just serving and spewing over and over and over again because they've got something to gain by Trump not being there. There's something Donald Trump isn't willing to do for them that the current status quo is willing to do for them. And if you set all of that stuff aside and you just look at what is it like to live in Donald Trump's America? What is it like to live in the Biden-Harris America? You know the answer to that one. It's an obvious answer. It's an obvious pro-Trump answer. There's something that Donald Trump, some kind of access, some sort of knowledge. There's something that Donald Trump has. There's some sort of America First mentality that Donald Trump leads with that these people are repulsed by and are so afraid of taking over again. And I, for one, am desperate to see what they are so scared of. And we'll never know if Donald Trump doesn't win the election.
Yeah, Kelly has some serious credibility problems because of the things that I was just mentioning. But this article also, the line that people are quoting a lot from it is that, well, Trump wanted the kind of generals that Hitler had. That is not even from Kelly. That is from Atlantic's two unidentified sources.
Yep.
So again, like this is the same stuff. We've been watching it for 12 years or whatever now. The same playbook over and over and over again. And it's funny because Trump is so unfiltered when he speaks to you that you can picture more random things that he says. So it sounds kind of like, oh, maybe, but there's no credibility to the people saying it. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's kind of like double-edged sword. If you're going to be that honest with people and that kind of off the cuff, you come off as somebody who just would say random stuff. He does come off that way. But these reports have no credibility.
The Atlantic tweeted out, this is the quote that they have from Jeffrey Goldberg's reporting, "I need the kind of generals that Hitler had. Trump's obsession with dictators and disdain for America's military are deepening." That's what they put out on the Atlantic X account. Myra, is it Guillen, probably? The sister to the service person who passed away, retweeted the Atlantic article and said, "Wow, I don't appreciate how you are exploiting my sister's death for politics. Hurtful and disrespectful to the important changes she made for service members. President Donald Trump did nothing but show respect to my family and Vanessa. In fact, I voted for President Trump today." I mean, that's game, set, match for me. And for anybody who needs, it's like a drug. For anybody who needs, you just need the next hit. You don't need it to be true in 3 weeks. You don't care about 3 weeks. You are craving hard that next hit of copium from hating Donald Trump, of investing your next brain cell activity into why what you thought you knew about Donald Trump is real. And these losers at the Atlantic, these deceivers. I mean, I have thought in the last week that I am seeing evil on display more than I've seen it in my lifetime. Sometimes I feel like I can see it in people's eyes. There is an aggressive evil that exists out there, and it's taking shape in a political campaign, and it's working really hard on people's emotions. It's working really hard on trying to make you feel a way that is not going to be conducive to a peaceful America in the future. We have to be willing to call it out when we see it. You have to be able to look it straight in the face and call it out when you see it. Let's take a quick break and get results of the YouTube poll. When we come back, does January 6th influence your vote? Major influence, minor influence, or no influence? What do you think? Let us know on the Andy Fry YouTube channel. We'll be back after this.
This is the Annie Fry Show. When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you.
Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Republican Adam Schnelting is a husband, father, and a soldier. As an Army combat engineer, Schnelting is trained to fight for us. He's trained to solve problems. As state representative, Adam fought to keep men out of our daughters' bathrooms and sports. He voted to cut our taxes and fully fund our schools. He led the charge in Missouri to secure our border and address the fentanyl crisis. He even earned the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Adam Schnelting for State Senate.
I'm Adam Schnelting, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Schnelting for Missouri, Mike Summer, Treasurer.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com or call 314-474-2020. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
Does January 6th influence your vote? There are 3 options for this poll: major influence, minor influence, and no influence. We're going to give you the results of this poll in a matter of minutes. So if you haven't voted, especially if you're on the stream right now, vote and let us know what you think. Leave a comment. If not, you can get on there by typing Annie Fry into YouTube, and today's date will come up. You'll see the live stream, and you can vote. 2:45. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. You guys know how close Christmas is. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for Christmas right now. Yeah, I saw a holiday lights sign the other day, and I'm like, yes.
63 days.
Great.
The election's here in 13 days. It's going to be here. Boom. We're 63 days of knowing who the president's going to be on Christmas Day.
Wow. That's crazy.
All at one time. Thank you for saying that the way you would in a toy commercial on Nickelodeon.
Like if I was...
Wow. That's crazy.
Like if I was scared by a little kid's bug set, and they set the bug on Dad's chair, and he goes, ah!
Wow.
Whoa, a bug! You can eat those? Those are gummies?
Did you have a toy that you ever saw in a commercial that you really wanted to have and got?
Oh my gosh, yes.
What is it?
It was the game Mousetrap.
Oh yeah. Mousetrap never delivered the way it looked on television.
No, it never did. It looked like it was going to be a blast.
Did you ever play a game of Mousetrap?
Yeah, it's terrible. It's stupid.
I don't even really remember how you play it, because don't you build it as you play it?
I don't remember. I remember that you go around a board and the gameplay itself is as dull as can be.
I think we just put it together and played with it.
Yeah, that's all you do. But here's the deal, and I think I've told this story once before because it was a very, very important moment for my childhood. When I was a kid, my friend Corey had a mousetrap that was probably pre his birth. Like somebody had gotten it and given it to him. And I'm like, wow, that version of mousetrap is amazing. And so I told my parents, I want Santa to bring me that version of mousetrap, not the new one in the store. I want that one. And my parents told me they weren't sure that that could happen. And I'm like, just tell Santa.
Yeah.
And then that morning, I got the new version of Mousetrap. And I was a little disappointed that they didn't communicate my specific instructions to Santa. They just probably said Mousetrap.
Yeah. I remember Mousetrap specifically. I remember the little marble. I remember the cup thing that turned over.
Mm-hmm. There was a marble that went downstairs kind of sideways.
Did it go into like a little cart or something like that that maybe dumped into?
Yeah.
We should get one.
Was the purpose of Mousetrap to catch the mouse, or were you the mouse?
I have no idea.
Your game piece was the mouse.
That's what I thought. So you're trying to get away from the trap?
But it's not built when you start. It's like, why are we building this?
I got a lot of flaws.
Let's just roll the dice and get to the end.
The storytelling does not make much sense.
Have you ever played it, Ethan?
No. No idea what you're talking about.
You never heard of it?
Nope.
God dang it.
You ever heard of Milton Bradley?
Yes.
Mattel?
Yeah, he's a new salesperson.
Probably, yeah.
Milton Bradley, the baseball player?
Well, that's where my mind went first, actually.
Anything else that you ever saw on TV and like had to have? Wait, did Ethan, as a youngin', did you grow up watching toy commercials on TV?
Yes,
okay.
I definitely did. I'm trying to remember back if there were any that I was like super in on wanting but never getting. I don't know. I'm going to have to keep thinking about
Brad,
this.
did you have one?
There's a couple things. Do you guys remember GAC?
Yeah, it smelled.
The
I can smell
slime
it right now.
Yeah. That was one thing that
you
I
make
just
some serious fart noises with some GAC.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Push it in there.
That was one thing
far.
that I really, really wanted, and I ended up getting. The other thing was I think it was called the Typhoon. It was a hovercraft remote control thing, and the commercials like it can go anywhere over any surface. You're watching it go over water and through dirt and all that stuff, and we got it, and we were playing with it, and it can't go over water.
It hit a clump of grass.
It hit a clump of grass. It went in. We had a little pool, and it went over the pool, and then slowly sunk in the pool, and then we ruined it.
Okay. The Crossfire commercial.
Oh.
That was incredible.
What was Crossfire?
Crossfire was a game.
Would you shoot marbles at the little spinny
marbles
things?
at little token things, and you tried to push them into your player's gutter, like the opposite side.
Joseph gives us some context here and says, Mousetrap, you were a mouse, but you built the trap to try and catch other mice.
Oh, okay. So it was like a cannibalism kind of game.
This is to me. It sounds a lot like socialists who are like, "No, it's just socialism for other people." Here, build your trap.
Yeah.
You'll catch them, not you.
You're building mouse traps as a mouse still.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned
Should have called
about
it
the
just
message.
trap.
Yeah.
With a wink, wink.
Yeah, and had people.
That would make so much more sense. It wouldn't make any less sense. I had a water baby. I know you're boys, but do you remember water babies?
My sister had a water baby.
Did they have water in them?
Once you put it in there, yeah. They felt a little more realistic.
They kind of wobbled
But
around.
all I remembered was it was very difficult to fill them with water because of like the rubber material, whatever they were made with. You'd have to like squish them in weird ways to get the water to go in, and then you'd have to plug the belly button real quick, which is where the water went in.
Yeah.
But you could, like, they'd lay there. This is radio, so you can't see this, but their arms were out and their legs were kind of, just like kind of the way a baby would lay if you just laid a baby down or whatever. But you could squeeze its hips together like that, and it would just go like this.
Yeah. It would flap.
Flopping around.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know. I just remember being like, doing that to it a lot and then being like, I'm going to go outside and play.
Yeah. Feed me.
Were you around dolls much?
Parrot?
Did you have action figures, also known as boy dolls?
So my neighbor had a lot of Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah.
Ninja Turtles were great.
Those were great. but I didn't have hardly any, and he had so many that I would actually buy them and give them to him to complete his collection.
You're not doing this right.
What a guy. I know, right?
This guy's running some major corporation right now, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. He was like, you know what you should do? You should buy toys for me. And I'm like, okay.
That sounds like a great idea.
Mom, can I get more allowance? I want to buy Mikey toys. But he did
I'll
have...
make you do your chores, Ryan.
He did have all of them. And so anytime a new one would come out, if his mom wouldn't buy it, I would lobby to get it because it felt like we played so often that it felt like we had the whole collection together. And then eventually he left and he took all his Ninja Turtles with him. And I was left just there in the dust, waiting. It was like a little orphan.
I just like dipped out of that, what your comment was real quick there. And then when I came back, it had gotten dark.
So you're comparing not having... your friend leaving you to being an orphan.
Well, in a way.
Or not having a toy.
I was more picturing like the Oliver Twist version of an orphan. So not like a modern orphan, but like just tattered clothes.
It's like they broke up.
Standing in the wind, you know.
Is it cloudy?
Listening to Creed. Like it was just, it was like very arid.
I almost said, look at this photograph, and then I realized
that's not Creed.
That's not right.
No.
Same genre. I wanted to read this comment from Twitch.
Oh, hello.
Yeah,
hello.
Hi, Twitch. On our YouTube live chat poll, does January 6th influence your vote? Major influence, minor influence, or no influence? Ethan will give us the results here in a minute. Barbados says, January 6th is like the little brother complaining that their sibling is touching them in the back seat of the car. Yeah, it was dumb, but it could have been so much worse. It was full insurrection. If it was a full insurrection, there would have been so many more people dead. It's just blown way out of proportion by the left. I think that's kind of an interesting way to look at it. When you look at videos of what took place on January 6th, there are videos that can be stitched together with some emotionally driving music and colorized in a way that makes it look a lot more ominous. You could also make a mostly peaceful protest that CNN had in front of, was that Wisconsin, where they were, was that Kenosha maybe?
It might have been Kenosha.
Where there was fire blazing in a building behind, and they're like, it's a mostly peaceful protest here in Wisconsin. And, it's just framing. That maybe there were peaceful places in Wisconsin. I don't know why they put that chyron on in front of the burning building.
Well, they did say it was fiery. It's fiery.
Well,
It's mostly peaceful.
Well, and they said it was mostly peaceful. They must have been like, off camera, it appears to be mostly peaceful over there.
Yeah.
And then Leslie Nielsen
gunshots
saying,
in the background.
pay no attention.
Yeah.
Please disperse. But with January 6th, there was so much peaceful protesting taking place, and then it turns into something else. But even in the Capitol, people are wandering around like they're on a tour.
Oh, yeah. A lot of them were staying within the velvet ropes.
Yeah, and being asked to leave and leaving when they were being asked to leave.
Yeah, that's pretty... All right, we'll go ahead and go on in, I guess, if everyone else is. This is kind of cool.
It's a scenario where you can take a specific clip and apply it to the whole of the event and be very deceiving in the way you're doing it. And the deceit is intentional. Ethan, you want to go ahead and give us the results to today's YouTube live chat poll?
379 votes for does January 6th influence your vote? 89% say no influence, 7% say major influence, and then just 3% saying a minor influence.
And I'm in the minor influence category just because of how major of an influence it is for the left. I want the facts. I want the truth. Or at least, if we don't even get that, I'd like the other side. I'd like the perspective.
And I'm in the no influence category because I am always in the majority.
This is the first time you've been in the majority. Jack Posobiec on in the 12 o'clock hour. Great to have him on to talk about his book, Bulletproof. Make sure you listen to the Annie Fry Show podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from, to hear what you missed on the show today. With the Mark Reardon Show up next.
I'm not America's sweetheart. So beat the drum with me. I'm not America's
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one. Funded by Medicaid with no cost to you, Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 five-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching